Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, Geico, Ticket Exchange, and by TIAA Bank. Now to get things started, here are Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick.
And as the calendar turns to October, the stakes continue to rise for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Today, a huge matchup against the last unbeaten team in the AFC in one of the most hostile environments in the game. Today, the 3-1 Jacksonville Jaguars meet the 4-0 Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. Kickoff set for 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Welcome into the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field. This is the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and here we go. The biggest game of the week in the NFL.
You're right. For the second time this year, you can really claim that. I think the Jags-Patriots game was the biggest game that week in the National Football League as a rematch of the AFC title game. Here, you've got two teams who can make a claim for being the best in their conference, and Kansas City at home with the number one offense, Jags with the number one defense, Kansas City with a miserable defense, and the Jags with hopefully an improving offense to counter that.
Rain will be in the forecast today. It's already been raining in Kansas City. We'll get the update from Arrowhead Stadium coming up, but temperatures in the mid-60s today in Middle America for this football game. Let's get to today's top stories and start off with the tone this week. The Chiefs enter as the top scoring offense in the NFL. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes, of course, a big reason why. It's a remarkable start. 14 touchdowns, no interceptions for the second-year quarterback. Doug Marrone earlier this week set the tone, saying he's among the best ever.
Right now, he's playing better than any quarterback's ever played. I mean, he's an MVP quarterback. What the question is, what he can't do. I don't know. I mean, I don't think words can really put in perspective how great he's playing. I mean, that's really all there is to it.
That really kind of started things this week, and you go in the locker room. We'll hear from guys coming up a little bit later. And, they were talking very in very high regard for Mahomes in this offense. Rightly so. They've done things well. But there was a little bit of it's a little over-the-top praise here. That's how this defense kind of feels right now.
Well, sure. I mean, it's a small sample size, but in that sample, he's been the best player in the National Football League this year. I mean, unquestionably, 14 touchdowns, no interceptions. His bad game was 300 yards, a passing TD, a rushing TD, and a double-digit comeback in the fourth quarter on the road against a division opponent. That's his bad game so far this year. So, I mean, all the superlatives, he's earned them, JP. There's not a throw he can't make, and he's got the crazy confidence to try to stick it in the smallest windows in the National Football League. Everyone talks about how bad an idea it is to throw across your body, across the field. Not as much with Patrick Mahomes because he's got such arm strength that he can get the ball there quicker than most quarterbacks. Incredible mobility, seemingly eyes in the back of his head. Now, he hasn't been tested by a defense like this one, so we'll see if the Jags can rattle him a little bit today, but so far he's been unflappable.
And Malik Jackson is one of those saying, tap the brakes here just a little bit on Mahomes.
Too soon for me, I mean, it's only his second year, fifth game playing, seventh game playing, so, I think it's a little too early, but, you guys like to crown people things and give them nicknames and stuff. I think, the league wants to build people up, to get that brand out there, so it is what it is, it's whatever, but he has to play us, so we'll see.
Tashawn Gibson is buying the hype, we think.
I do. Yeah, man, like that dude is – he's so good, I hope he throw me one, right? How about this? I'm going to talk him up all week. No, seriously, though, he's a phenomenal athlete, man. He's a great quarterback. He's playing MVP-like, so, he playing so good that when I pick him off, I might have to put his ball up there with the Ben Roethlisbergers and the Drew Breeses. That's how good I think he is.
I love this defense because you're always going to go in and hear it from one side or the other, and we heard it from both sides there.
Hey, I get it. You know what? They think, hey, we're pretty good too. We're number one against the pass, number two against the run, number one scoring defense in the National Football League. He hasn't seen anything like this. So, granted, some streaks need to end today. Mahomes not throwing an interception. The Jags secondary not getting one that's counted, at least. Gipp had one last week, as he predicted, overturned, though, by penalty.
Now, the Chiefs have some other offensive weapons as well. You might have heard of this. Wide receiver Tyreek Hill is one of those. And Hill had some mild comments about Jalen Ramsey in the possible matchup this week, saying that Jalen's all right, I guess, and I hope he presses me. Well, Jalen responded with a little bit of fire on Thursday.
I don't like how whoever has made it a matchup, me against Tyreek. He's good for what he does for their team. He made All-Pro as a return specialist. Let's get that right. As a return specialist, his rookie year. He went to 2 Pro Bowls as a return specialist. 2 years. I made All-Pro in my position as a corner. Went to the Pro Bowl as a corner. So it's not a wide receiver versus corner matchup. So we can get that out of the way.
And Jalen's point towards the end of that is it's not going to be him on Hill most of the day, but it's always
that's
nice
one
to
of
hear from
Jalen's points. Jalen's other point is don't overhype this guy as a wide receiver, and I think he's wrong. He had 75 catches last year. He had 7 touchdowns. He had the 7th most receiving yards in the National Football League. He's overshadowed, perhaps, by the fact that he's the most dynamic return man in the National Football League. But to think that he's not an accomplished receiver already, I would not go to sleep on that. And I doubt they're going to take him lightly in that department. But, look, the Jags defense don't like other opposing offenses getting accolades, I suppose. Look, it's okay. There can be good players on both teams on the field today, and I think that'll be the case.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. They hate that.
They hate it. I mean, like,
that.
why? Tyreek Hill, he's not that good. He's really, really good, all right? And if Quincy Enunwa and Robbie Anderson had a step on this secondary last week, they didn't have a quarterback that could hit him. Tyreek Hill's got a quarterback that can hit him, so back up your words if you're going out there. This guy is probably the fastest player in the National Football League.
Now to the offense. No Leonard Fournette this week for offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. TJ Yeldon gets the nod again, and for Hackett, his game has improved as it's gone on here this season.
I think without a doubt, TJ's entire game, I think, has definitely gone to another level. I think he's done a really good job out of the backfield. His knowledge of the game, both in protections and kind of where to fit to get out open and then make moves on guys, it's definitely been increasing, and I'm excited to see him keep rolling.
The offense has a different feel, of course, without Leonard Fournette in there. They've had the fantastic performance. They've had another one where they didn't play so well, but for Blake Bortles, they do have to spread it around a little bit more.
There's just going to need to be, that much more asked of you. There's going to need to be kind of that, the production that he brings is missing when he's not there, and we got to pick it up somewhere. So I know TJ and Corey take a lot of pride in that, doing it from the running back room. Me and the receivers do as well in the passing game. We know we're going to have to make up for some yards that aren't there because he's missing. So I think we're comfortable. Obviously, we want Leonard to play, want him to be healthy and out there and helping our team. But I think we've figured out how to win without him and be successful without having a great player in him out there.
Yeah. So first thought on Yeldon's game so far this season. It's a contract year for him. That aside, he's still playing pretty good football. He's really good in the passing game out of the backfield. And, he's not going to have the same type of running game as Leonard Fournette, a home run hitter. That's not TJ Yeldon, but he can get you those mid to intermediate yardage runs that you need for this offense.
He's quicker and faster. He looks this year, at least he has throughout the offseason right up until now, than he's been at any point in his career. Now, the question is how solid is his ankle, right? Because that's the thing. A couple weeks ago, he was in and out, couldn't stay on the field for very long. Last week, he took on a pretty big workload and fought through it and had a very successful game, scoring a couple touchdowns. So he's going to be a big part of this. But Corey Grant, who got mentioned there by Blake Bortles, should be a big part of this as well. I think, look, you got a Kansas City defense that Nathaniel Hackett's got to exploit some matchups out there today. They don't have very many good individual matchups from a defensive perspective this year. Strangely enough, they're number 1 in the league on third down, but that's a little bit more circumstantial. Overall, they've been really, really bad. The other night, you had the Denver Broncos running it down their throat and averaging over 10 yards on first down plays in that football game. So if you can establish, look, it may be passed to establish a run, however it works, but you're going to have a complementary mix of the passing game and TJ Yeldon and Corey Grant coming out of the backfield.
Blake Bortles' game is finally getting a little bit of national love. It's slow going, of course. CBS Sports play-by-play man Jim Nantz has the call of today's game, and it's time for Blake to get that respect nationally, he says.
I, for one, I'm tired of people picking on Blake Bortles. I'm sick of it. So, and I'm just saying this as a fan. I think it's over the top. I think it's piling on, and I think I don't think it's accurate. He's a different player now, and I hope I have many avenues to be able to say that in whatever broadcast form I can, maybe starting this Sunday.
Jim Nantz on Jaguars Drive Time on the team website earlier this week. And, hey, they're going to have the Jags. This is the second time this year. They got them next week against the Dallas Cowboys as well, the CBS crew. And coming up, there's a lot of big window games for this team today, a big matchup. Next week, 4:20 12:25 kickoff in Dallas. And then, of course, here against Houston. And then in London, the early game that day against the world champions. So a lot of big moments for Blake in this offense to show off.
Sure, in terms of getting the national recognition. We had Alex Marvez on this week in studio from SiriusXM NFL Radio, and he echoed those comments. He said, I think he's a good quarterback, which you don't hear very often. You hear he's a guy you can win with if you put the right stuff around him, and that's, kind of a little bit of a backhanded compliment. But, look, Blake has got to go out there today and take advantage. No matter what the conditions are weather-wise, everybody's playing in the same thing. We've seen 2 big games out of the last 3 out of Blake Bortles. We need one tending towards that today against the worst defense in the National Football League. If you want to cement your reputation as a guy who's leaving the past behind and as an up-and-coming player, you go out there today and you put up some good numbers.
There's your look around the top stories for today's matchup, the Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs with a 1 o'clock kickoff time Eastern. Let's go around the National Football League in Week 5.
All right, JP. Remember when the controversial lowering the helmet rule was supposed to ruin the game of football this year, right?
Yes, I remember that.
NFL referees have called it a grand total of 4 times this season in 4 weeks. However, just because a player's not flagged doesn't mean he won't be fined, as Chiefs running back Kareem Hunt found out this week he committed a textbook violation of the rule on Monday Night Football against the Broncos, and despite not drawing a flag, Hunt was fined nearly $27,000 for unnecessary roughness on the play in question. Around the National Football League elsewhere, the Jets defensive coordinator Casey Rogers reportedly dealing with a serious health issue that's going to keep him away from the team today and possibly for significant time afterward. No word on the specifics of what Rogers is dealing with, but head coach Todd Bowles will call the defensive plays today as the Jets host the Broncos. Vikings running back Dalvin Cook dealing with a hamstring injury, not expected to suit up today as the Vikings visit the Eagles. It's a rematch of last season's NFC Championship game. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reports there's confidence that Carolina tight end Greg Olsen will be able to play in Week 6 against the Redskins. Olsen's out today, but he did get in some limited practice this week, and barring setbacks, he's on track to return just 5 weeks after refracturing his surgically repaired foot. And then Monday Night Football could be spectacular when the Saints host the Redskins. Drew Brees aiming for a couple of milestones. Brees needs 4 TD passes to join Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, and Tom Brady as the only quarterbacks have thrown 500 or more in their career. And if he throws for more than 200 yards, 201 is all he needs, he'll leapfrog Manning and Favre. He'll become the all-time leading passer. 260 makes him the first to 72,000 passing yards.
Wow, and they won last week without a passing touchdown, right?
Correct.
And Brees ran for a couple in that game.
Not in that game. He earlier this year, but they threw for a little over 200 yards last week. But Alvin Kamara got it done with 3 second-half touchdowns on the ground.
Incredible career, for
sure.
Yeah,
maybe they were saving it for Monday Night Football, the showcase game. Look, I don't know if he'll get the 4 touchdowns, but he's definitely setting the all-time passing mark.
There's your look around the National Football League. We're just getting started on the Publix Tailgate Show. We'll return with first rounds on us. Our first visit to Arrowhead Stadium. Jeff Lageman and Tony Baselli have the rain gear ready for Jaguars Chiefs, a 1 o'clock kickoff time. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
Who's the Jaguars MVP? At Mellow Mushroom, it all depends on their favorite ingredients. Each month of the 2018 season, Mellow Mushroom will highlight a Jaguars player's most valuable pizza and raise money for a charity of their choice. This September, try the Funky Q and support Blake Bortles and the Blake Bortles Foundation and its work with first responders and individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Visit mellowmushroom.com and find a restaurant location near you.
Attention Jags fans, this is your chance for you and 3 of your friends to fly to Houston to see the Jaguars take on the Houston Texans December 30th. All you have to do is download the free Money Pages app today, and you can enter to win airfare, hotel stay, and tickets to the big game, all covered. The savings don't stop there. When you download the free Money Pages mobile app, you'll unlock great local savings on the go. So it's simple. Pick up your phone, go to the App Store, and search for the free Money Pages app. Good luck, and go Jaguars!
Only in Jacksonville can you tour a state-of-the-art hospitality show home before a game. Hi, this is Lauren Brooks. Make it a point to visit the Dreamfinders Home's newest stadium home before any home Jaguars game. Take a free tour and register for a chance to win amazing grand prizes. Dreamfinders Homes will select 1 winner per home game. Only at Dreamfinders Homes Stadium Home 2.0 by Gate 4 at TIAA Bank Field. Dreamfinders Homes, homes built to fit your lifestyle.
Okay, so we're here to see who's going to go for the win. First off, Molly took it to the next level with the chairs and the coolers. Here comes Emma, bringing it with those killer boots and that portable grill. Oh my, I think she's going for it.
Mom, I think the hot dogs are on fire.
Hold on, honey. Ladies, where did you go to get ready for the game?
Stein Mart. Visit any one of our 6 locations in Jacksonville for all your tailgating needs as we proudly support the Jaguars this season. Stein Mart. Saving is a beautiful thing.
Looking for a more comfortable way to camp or tailgate at Jags games? Visit Campers Inn RV for their integrity pricing guarantee. With their open and honest buying process, you'll never pay more for freight or dealer prep. There are no hidden fees in their prices ever. And as a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they want to thank you for your support. That's why they're offering this season's game attendees $500 off the purchase of a new RV. Just show them your ticket. So visit Campers Inn RV, the RVer's trusted resource, I-10 West, exit 351, or campersinn.com today.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiaAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. The Jags and the Chiefs coming up at 1 o'clock at Arrowhead Stadium. JTA's Game Day Express is back and ready for action. Don't get stuck in game day traffic. Park at any of the 5 convenient locations, then hop on board and take it to the bank. It's time for First Rounds on Us.
New York Jets, first round choice, Jeff Lageman.
Jacksonville Jaguars have selected tackle Southern California, Tony Verselli.
Only way to the top is looking out for number 1, and that's us. Keep looking out for number 1.
Our resident first-round picks join us this morning. Jeff Lageman, 1989 to the Jets. Tony Verselli, 95 to the Jaguars. At Arrowhead Stadium, where early morning reports, guys, are that animals are lining up 2 by 2 outside the stadium. Is that accurate?
Well, I can tell you this, JP. They have, there are 2 video boards on each end of the stadium, and for the last 10 minutes, all we've been looking at, as we are right now, the headline says, "Severe weather, seek shelter," and it's also on every television set inside the stadium where it is pouring rain.
And
we
lightning's
have seen
cracking everywhere.
Lightning, and looking at the radar of around Kansas City, it's kind of coming from the south-southwest, and it doesn't look like there's going to be too much of a break in the weather. So we got our fingers crossed. I know that the Miami Dolphins set a record this year, and I can't remember who they were playing.
Titans.
The Titans?
Yep.
Okay. Was it 8 hours almost to finish that game?
Stop it, guys.
7:51.
We may have one of them today, boys.
Oh, boy. Prime time football in
At least
Kansas
we're not
City.
flying back from the Midwest, JP, later
That's
on
right,
today.
yeah.
So there's that. Guys, I talked to Blair Kirkhoff with the Kansas City Star yesterday, and he said one impact that the weather may have is he wonders if it'll dampen the typically robust crowd a little bit today. I'm assuming you guys at some point have each played in Arrowhead. Explain what that environment is like for a visiting team.
It is by far the loudest environment in an outdoor stadium in the NFL now. Back in its heyday with the Buffalo Bills when they were on a roll and going to Super Bowls, you could argue that they were at the top, Tony. But
or Old Mile High.
And Seattle.
Yeah.
In Seattle.
Seattle,
Denver. Yeah. Seattle, Denver here right now are the loudest places. But, no fan base is probably more excited about their football team and their future than the Kansas City Chiefs because they have this bright young star of a quarterback that is making them go, wow, we have reason to be excited we can win Super Bowls.
This is how loud this place is. I played in the preseason game here, and you had to go silent count.
Silent count.
Yeah. I mean, and what you have
there
to –
goes another lightning strike, boys.
Come in here. What you have to be able – as an offensive lineman, it affects the offense much more. You just have to go into the game understanding you're not going to hear anything the entire game. And so you have to communicate. You have to really listen in the huddle. Been in situations where you can't even hear in the huddle barely. We have to ask multiple times, exactly what the play call is and what's going on. And then up at the line of scrimmage, you better kind of know by body language and, looks and hand signals and everything else, kind of what you're going to do and how you can communicate. And then you just watch the ball the entire game. Yeah, and it's just, it is what it is. And if you're not mentally prepared for it and you don't make your mind up that that's what it's going to be, it will affect you.
And to go back to your question, Mike, you say how will it impact the crowd base, or fan base? I don't know. I mean, because you know what, there's not a better fan base maybe in the league than Kansas City. And when we rolled in here on this bus, over an hour ago, the smokers were going, the beer was being put down. I mean, they're still rolling in right now. So I mean, maybe it affects it a little bit, but we'll have to wait and see. The other thing I want to bring up, I had a conversation with Jimmy Luck, the Jaguars equipment guy, because they knew that the weather was going to be like it is in advance. And so I asked Jimmy, I said, what did you guys do? And he said, that they made sure that they had all the equipment that they normally bring, which is the rain jackets, et cetera, but this time they thoroughly counted them to make sure that they had something for everybody, but they also packed additional socks, additional pants, because in the event that this game gets delayed or is extremely wet, some players may end up wanting to change their socks or their footwear if it gets completely soaked from the expected rain today.
Interesting stuff there. What is the greatest danger that Patrick Mahomes brings? What do you have to stop him from doing to slow him down? Have you seen anything?
Let me just say this, JP. There's not one thing that he doesn't do well. When you look at his short passing game, he's a 140-plus rating. When you look at his deep passer rating, it's in the 140s as well. The thing that I think concerns me the most is that he tries more deep balls than anybody in the National Football League. 19.6% of his passes are attempted deep balls, and they hit him. And against the San Francisco 49ers, I showed this on Film Room Friday, in a 15-play stretch, there were 5 plays where they went deep. They didn't connect on them all. They connected on one of them, got an interference call that got them first and goal at the 1-yard line on another one, but then the other ones were barely misses. So that's my concern.
Well, the only thing that he does that you can take advantage of is because he trusts in his arm so much. And this is what a lot of big arm quarterbacks do. And he is very accurate. He feels like he can stick it in anywhere. And he will try to put the ball in tight windows today, and you see it on tape. Every once in a while, that ball is going to be bounced up in the air, and it's going to be deflected, and you have a chance to go get one.
You got to take advantage when that opportunity is there.
Yeah.
Jags haven't done that so far this year.
Back to last week, right? There was 4 opportunities, and they didn't make them. I mean, Tyler Patman had an opportunity, went right through his arm. Jalen Ramsey had a pop-up that he dropped. A.J. Boye had one hit him in the chest, and he dropped that one. Deshaun Gibson had one, and it got negated because of the penalty by A.J. Boye. So, look, I mean, the opportunities were there last week, and if they show themselves in this game, you got to take advantage of it. The interesting thing to me, though, is that the weather is going to control some of the pace of this ball game, no question. And so you go, okay, what typically happens in a bad weather game? Well, teams want to run the football more. Me and Tony had this debate on the way here on the bus. What does the weather impact? How does it impact this team, each team? And which team has the advantage in weather like this? And Tony thinks it's the Jaguars. And I would say it's the Chiefs, because the Chiefs have been running the football better with Kareem Hunt. And it's an interesting debate, and I don't know if there is one surefire answer.
So if I were to ask you then, whether or not we factor in the weather, Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, which of those weapons for Patrick Mahomes poses the biggest threat to the Jags today?
Oh, it's Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's a touchdown waiting to happen. I mean, he is so dangerous. And it's not just offense; it's special teams.
I thought he was just a returner, Tony.
No, if you watch him, he runs good routes. Good hands. And what no one
you
talks.
Sure about that?
Yeah, I'm positive.
I mean, did he make the Pro Bowl as a wide receiver?
I think he's pretty good, Jeff.
Oh.
And watching him on tape and seeing him live before, what you don't realize is not only is he really fast and really elusive and can change directions like very few people on planet Earth, he's a big dude from the stance. He is a stocky, strong player, and he's difficult to bring down. So he has a physicality about him as well. So To me, he's the biggest threat.
Yeah, and you don't know where he's going to line up. I mean, 59% of his snaps, he's at a wide receiver spot. 34%, he's in a slot. 4%, he's at running back. 3%, he's at tight end. So if you want to kind of key in and say, okay, we're gonna really concentrate on slowing him down, well, if you don't know where he's going to line up, it's almost impossible to do that. And the real threat with him is his deep ball ability. Nobody has more deep receiving yards in the National Football League last year and this year combined than Tyreek Hill, regardless of what Jalen Ramsey will tell you.
All right, guys, we'll come back on the Publix Tailgate Show. Frank Frangie will join us. Fantasy picks right around the corner. And a little bit later, Jaguars wide receivers coach Keenan McCardell breaks down the success from a week ago. Jags Chiefs at 1 o'clock at Arrowhead Stadium and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
At ViStar, we believe in better. And that means treating people better with friendly, personal service that's kept our members happy since 1952. A smile and personal greeting when you enter the branch, an online or phone chat for those quick questions, and a call center that's open every day. If you believe that great service is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Jaguars owner Shad Khan on creating the best customer experience.
Game day is special, and when the Jags take the field, we want every fan to have the best game day possible. That's why we partnered with Dailies. They even have 3 locations in the stadium. They know what makes for a great customer experience. From the kickoff kit program to the way they treat our fans at the game, it's like they say, it's nicer here. I can't think of a better game day partner. I also happen to like their coffee.
To experience what Shad is talking about, visit a Dailies at TIAA Bank Field or any of our 29 Jacksonville locations.
Every 51 minutes, someone dies in a drunk driving crash. If you think it can't happen to you or that your actions won't affect others, think again. I got behind the wheel drunk and caused a crash that took the lives of 2 young women. Before you drink, have a plan and know all your options. One bad decision can last forever. Take it from me, Eric, prison inmate P22679.
This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Storm season is here, and JEA is doing everything possible to prepare. We've invested millions in hardening our electric, water, and sewer systems to make them more resistant to extreme weather. By updating your contact information and signing up for alerts, you'll also be better prepared if a storm hits. And in the event we need to restore your power, we can keep you up to date on our efforts and get you back to normal sooner. Update your contact info today at JEA.com. JEA, building a more prepared community.
If you are considering selling your home or just wondering what your home might be worth, it's important to talk with someone you can trust, a Weichert agent. Your Weichert agent will prepare a marketing plan that will help you arrive at the optimum selling price and will expose your home to more buyers faster. Contact a Weichert Realtors affiliate today by calling 1-800-USA-SOLD or visit Weichert.com to find the office nearest you. Weichert, local, knowledgeable, personal service. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight.
Liftoff.
When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. The Publix Tailgate Show continues. 1 o'clock Eastern, the kickoff time for the Jags and the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. Coming up at Daly's Place, October 20th, Brett Eldridge. November 17th, Rudy in concert featuring the Jacksonville Symphony. They'll show the movie and play the score live. And then December 1st, the big ticket, Weezer and Foster the People. Tickets at dailysplace.com. We go back to Arrowhead Stadium. Tony Baselli, Jeff Lageman standing by. And for the first time, we welcome in the birthday boy, Frank Frangie. just had one this week, right?
I did. I just had my 40th birthday, and I feel different than when I was in
20.
way different than when I was in my 30s. It was a totally different thing. But, yeah, good to be here on a dreary day there, JP.
Yeah.
JP,
yes,
I got to say now.
Here we go.
Friday night I was there. Okay, I witnessed some of the mayhem at Frank's party on Friday night. But what might have been better than witnessing the mayhem was to see the resulting carnage yesterday in Frank's face and in his eyes at about it was about 7 o'clock last night.
It was at 24 hours later, and Logs goes, dude, just go to bed. I think that, and he was dead on right. So took a little recovery time, JP, but we're good and ready to go today.
He looks much better today.
Very nice. Way to get back on track. Hey, let's speaking of getting back on track, how about the fantasy standings, Mike?
All right, JP Shadrick has been knocked off his perch after Jeff Lageman put up a nice total of 79 points last week. Alvin Kamara got you 40, Jeff. Phillip Rivers, Antonio Brown, your other players last week. 269 the total. JP had 40 points last week.
That's not good.
No, but it's not. It wasn't the worst of the week. Let's put it that way.
That's good.
258 is where you stand. Tony Baselli is now in third place after a 60-point week with 230 overall. I managed to squeak out 46. I was third on the week, but fall to fourth place at the moment at 211.
Don't like where this is going.
Frank Frangie, the birthday boy, for the second week in a row. Last week, 36. This week, or I guess 2 weeks ago, 36. Last week, 35 points for Frank Frangie, and even 200, Frank. So that's easy to remember.
You didn't even get as many birthday candles.
No, I did not.
Frank.
No.
Good.
No.
Not been a tough week, fantasy-wise.
So the draft order today is Frank, myself, Tony, JP, and then Jeff. And for folks who are tuning in right now, we can only use each player one time all season, and once they come off the board in each individual week, nobody else can use that player. So, Frank, the board's yours.
Yeah, I will take Ben Roethlisberger, Mike, to kick this thing off.
I had a two-quarterback list this week because if you took Ben, I was taking Matt Ryan, and that's exactly what I'm doing in the highest point total expected
He's looking
game
at
of the
my
week.
list, guys. Come on.
All right, Tony, you're up.
Okay, let me see. I got two quarterbacks at the top of Jeff's list. Let me see which one I want to choose here.
He's so bad.
I'm going to go Jared Goff.
Oh, Goff is off the board. All right, JP.
Aaron Rodgers.
All right.
Playing the line.
That's garbage.
Back-to-back picks for you, Jeff.
All right, I will take Drew Brees, and I will take DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay, could have waited till the very last pick to take Drew Brees there if you wanted to because everybody else had a quarterback. But
I didn't know that. That was my mistake.
Pay attention.
Yeah, we know.
There's only 4 picks deep. JP, you got Aaron Rodgers. Who you pairing him with?
Julio Jones.
Julio Jones is your wide receiver. Tony.
I'm going to go Smith-Schuster.
Juju. There you coming off the board. All right.
I sense some cheating going on in Kansas City right now.
I am going to go with, couple of good options. I'm going to go with James Conner this week for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, Frank, back to you need a running back and a wide receiver or a tight end.
All right, I go back-to-back here, right,
Yep.
Mike? I will go Antonio Brown and Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara, get him in while the getting's good. I will take – I wrote Connor in the wrong line. I will take Michael Thomas on Monday Night Football helping Drew Brees set all those milestones. Tony, need a running back here.
I got to do one little thing here, Mike.
Check Jeff's list? Or?
No, I'm just
It's
making
like
sure.
the draft to where if he runs out of time, we move to the next
No, I'm just
pick.
making sure someone's active today. I'm going to go with Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon's a very nice selection today. Good matchup. JP need a running back as well.
Give me Todd Gurley.
Gurley, and then finally
cheated.
Jeff, you got Breeze, you got Hopkins. Who's
I
your
literally
running back?
every guy that I had starred on my list, Baselli has chosen. He's a cheater.
Got to guard that list better, man.
I'll tell you what. I'll take. And I'm debating here. Is it T.J. Yeldon or McCaffrey? Help me out, Bo. Who should I take?
I actually like Yeldon. He was my MVP for this game.
I'll take Yeldon.
T.J. Yeldon it is. All right, here are the teams. Frank's got Ben Roethlisberger, Alvin Kamara, and Antonio Brown. I've got Matt Ryan, James Conner, and Michael Thomas. Tony's got Jared Goff, Melvin Gordon, and Juju Smith-Schuster. JP went with Aaron Rodgers, Todd Gurley, and Julio Jones. And Jeff has Drew Brees, T.J. Yeldon, and DeAndre Hopkins.
Hey, Mike, can you give us the totals real quick again?
Yeah, Jeff's got 269.
Okay.
JP has 258. Tony,
Okay.
you have 230.
Ooh, I'm right in it.
Yep, I've got 211, and Frank is at an even 200 right now.
Thanks for asking for that rundown again, Tony.
I just want to make sure.
Appreciate
Once
you
more,
doing that.
Frank
That's
Frangie has an
fantastic.
even 200.
Yeah, there we go.
So, Frank, you're last.
I would be last.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Your math is exceptional.
And
There's
Dempsey
no
is
question.
second from
Yes,
last.
I am.
Yeah.
How about that?
And JP is falling, so my bet looks good.
Yes.
Still number 2.
Long
Ahead
way
of
to
you.
go, boys.
Yeah, a lot of season left. Guys, we'll talk to you a little bit later. Let's get into the Frangie file now. We visit a little longer with play-by-play man Frank Frangie from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The rain falling, the weather will be a storyline today, but the prevailing storyline here is the Kansas City offense against this Jaguars defense. A fantastic matchup today, Frank.
Yeah, it really is, JP. But I do think, to your first point, I do think the weather will be a factor here. I mean, it's going to be like this all day, we're told. It is rainy. It is dreary. The severe weather could pass through, but I don't think it's going to be dry much during this game. But that's right. The storyline is Patrick Mahomes is the most talked-about guy in the NFL right now. The 14 touchdowns and 0 picks is an astounding stat. And the Jags have the best defense, the best scoring defense, the best overall defense. Statistically, that's a great matchup, and it's almost a shame we're going to see it in the rain. You know what I mean? It's almost a shame that we're not going to see it. And I do think the rain probably helps in this instance the defense. I know there's competing theories on that, but it's going to be a dreary day and 2 great units for sure.
Yeah, you do have the theory that the offensive guys know where they're going, so it's tougher to keep up with them in the rainy conditions, but I guess we'll see how that plays out today, Frank. One statistic Tony Smith and I kind of marveled at this week. The Chiefs had the worst defense, but they have the best third down defense in the National Football League, in part because they faced fewer third downs than a lot of teams because they're giving it up on first and second down, but they have come up big in big moments. Do you think maybe they're a little bit better than the statistics indicate?
I do think that, Mike, and I think that for this reason. They are so good offensively that they get these leads, and even when they don't get leads, they are pressing you and pressing you and pressing you, and you force the other team to attack. I think one of the reasons they have such bad defensive – look, I don't think they're a good defense, don't get me wrong. But I think one of the reasons, Mike, they have such bad defensive statistics is because their offense presses the action so much. Pressing, and the other team has no choice but to try and compete. So, yeah, are they a great defense? No. Are they probably better than the numbers? I think they are.
Frank Frangie with us from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Is this going to be the offense that we saw against the Jets and the Patriots, or the offense we saw against the Titans?
JP, if it's not the offense you've seen against the Jets and the Patriots, I think the Jags are in trouble a little bit. As great as Jacksonville is defensively, I do sense, and again, weather could be a factor in this comment, I guess. But JP, I think this is going to be an up and down the field game a little bit. I don't think we're headed for 17-13 here. Again, weather withstanding. So for me, I think there's a chance the Jags are going to have to get in a little bit of a track meet. That doesn't mean a 60-minute track meet or a 3-hour track meet. But I think there are going to be moments here that if the Jags can't keep up offensively, they're in some trouble. So the good thing is, to your point, they've proven against the Patriots and the Jets that they can do that. And I think this will be a day they may have to.
Frank talked with Barry Church this week and said they don't believe there's a team that can go consistently up and down the field on them, but they do have to beware of the quick strike capabilities. And they've got that not only, though, on offense, but on special teams as well with Tyreek Hill. How week to week, that seems like if you don't give up the big play, it's going to be tough to score consistently against this Jaguar defense.
I totally agree with that. You're not going to go 12 plays 80 yards on this group very often, Mike. I think that's a great point. But Logs made a great point when you guys were talking to him earlier. This guy throws the ball down the field so much. It's almost like, Mike, he's only his 6th career start. It's almost like he hasn't played enough to realize that in the NFL you don't go deep that much. It's as crazy as that sounds, right? It almost seems like he hasn't settled into the NFL way yet, where you check down more. And this guy's just firing it down the field. So because he takes so many chances down the field, you're going to hit some of those. That's the law of averages. So, yes, I don't think you're going 12 plays, 80 yards against this Jags group very often. But I do think the Chiefs are going to hit some big plays in this game.
All right, Frank Frangie from Kansas City. What was the dinner option in KC last night?
Well, the dinner option for me last night was go to bed because of Friday night,
Okay,
JP. Watched the Gators with Hicken and Hayes Carline and went to bed. That's a true story. That was the dinner option for me.
Okay. Now we know. Have a good one today, Frank.
Thanks, boys.
Frank Frangie joining us from Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City. We'll return to the Publix Tailgate Show with Director of Player Development Marcus Pollard, plus Jaguars wide receivers coach Keenan McCardell. Jags Chiefs at 1 o'clock at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
is Lori Fournette, mother of Jacksonville Jaguars running back Leonard Fournette. My son is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. As a busy mom, I'm always looking for easy ways to save time. Publix helps me tackle everything from pre-game prep to post-game cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, assorted varieties of Pantene shampoo and conditioner, 3.2 to 30.4 ounces, are $2 off with each purchase of 2.
Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Massage Envy announces their newest game changer, professionally assisted stretch. Increase mobility, flexibility, and blood flow. Add stretch to relaxing therapeutic massage sessions and you're game ready. Visit any of the 7 Jacksonville area Massage Envy locations in Bartram Park, Fleming Island, Harbor Village, Jacks Beach, Oakleaf, Ortega, and Southside. Text stretch to 82257 to receive a free 30-minute professionally assisted stretch offer when you purchase any massage session. Text the word stretch to 82257.
Brooks Rehabilitation is the official rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brooks offers rehabilitation services such as inpatient care, outpatient therapy, skilled nursing, home health, assisted living, and memory care. They also have a wide range of community programs, as well as a comprehensive pediatric program. Brooks offers high-quality care from their expert clinical team to help you meet your rehabilitation goals. To learn more, visit brooksrehab.org. That's brooksrehab.org.
This is the Pepsi that gets you stuff. Crack one open, and you could get a Weber grill or an acoustic guitar. Because when you collect codes on specially marked Pepsi products, you'll get summer rewards from Pepsi Stuff. We'll even get you tickets to see Dierks Bentley.
I like the sound of that.
We do too, Dierks.
Grab the Pepsi, enter the codes, get the stuff.
Drink Pepsi, get stuff. Pepsi Stuff Rewards Program subject to official rules at PepsiStuff.com. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 plus. All rewards subject to availability and may have limited quantities while supplies last.
Discover a few reasons to get into a Ford SUV during SUV season, like the available Enhanced Active Park Assist in Ford Edge, or Escape with available cross-traffic alert, and carry up to 7 people in the spacious Explorer. Don't miss big savings on a new SUV. It's SUV season, going on now at your local Ford dealer. Driver assist features are supplemental and do not replace the driver's attention, judgment, and need to control the vehicle. Sales claim based on 2017 calendar year sales.
Hello, I'm Eddie Farah. If you've been injured in an auto accident, someone may ask you to sign a release. Don't do it. Without consulting a lawyer, you may be signing away your rights. We invite you to bring us your release. We'll review it and your case for free. We represent accident victims. There's never a charge to talk about your case, and we're only paid when we collect for you. Call us at 396-5555. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979. Office, Jacksonville.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. It's NFL Week 5. The Jags and the Chiefs coming up at 1 o'clock Eastern at Arrowhead Stadium. Let's go back to Kansas City and welcome in former NFL tight end, Jaguars Director of Player Development and Youth Football, Marcus Pollard with us. What's up?
Holding it down.
Yes, you are in Kansas City.
Yes, sir.
Where it's raining still.
Yes,
right?
sir. Still.
Plaid rain slicker today, maybe. No?
Yeah, how about a flannel type pattern to a rain slicker?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Stylish, man.
I like it.
Flannel,
I think I'm going to have Jimmy print me one up real quick.
That would work. That would work. So let's start with that. I mean, this is, the matchup we talked about all week is the offense of the Chiefs and the Jags defense, and Blake Bortles and the offense playing well and up and down the field, and here we go. But when it starts to rain and do this today, how does that change the approach?
I think from a standpoint of it's the team that has the most physical point of attack at the line of scrimmage. To me is where this game will be won. You say it every week, but to me, when you get a game like a rain day like this, how physical can our banged-up offensive line be versus Kansas City's defensive front? So the team that runs the ball the best, to me, has the best chance to win the game today.
Marcus, obligatory tight end question. Here it is. Travis Kelce, arguably the best tight end in the National Football League right now. He's certainly up there with Rob Gronkowski. What doesn't he do well, if there's anything?
I don't know. I've known Travis for a while and got to know him over the years playing with him, and then him being a rookie when we went to the Rookie Symposium back in the day. And then on his visual visit when he came to visit the Jaguars. But I don't see anything he can't do. He can block, he can run, he can split out the wide receiver, he can play tight end, he can go in the backfield, he can take handoffs. I mean, sell popcorn maybe, but the guy's talented, and you don't get to where you are and doing the things he's done at this point in his career without being talented.
Jaguars defense, all the talk this week, they were pumping up Mahomes, and it was almost to the point where you could tell it was a little over the top for a reason. They're a little tired of hearing about it. Do you think that's the case or what?
I don't know. I think our defense is fired up to play this game. I think we watched the video last night, and some of the naysayers in the media had a direct challenge to the defense, and I think the guys took the challenge like last night, like, okay, enough of the talk. Let's just go play. So I'm interested in seeing, excited to see our defense take the field today, because I think they want to go out and show that we have the number one defense in the league for a reason.
You know, we were talking about with Frank Frangie a moment ago, Marcus, who has the edge in a game where the weather conditions aren't great, maybe the footing's not great. Frank went with the defense. There is a school of thought that the offense does because they know where they're going on the routes. What do you think?
I think offense. I like to think offense. Hopefully our offense has enough of those plays where we can get traction, run the ball, make a few plays in the passing game. But for me, I'd say the offense has an advantage, like you said, because we know where we're going and the defense doesn't.
What is the worst weather game you played in?
Actually, it was probably here. It was a snow ice bowl, and the field, as it's today, real soft and wet. Well, that game, it was frozen solid with ice and painted green. And you actually had to play the game. You had to play the game in gym shoes. It was the worst experience ever.
How'd you guys do?
We lost.
Okay. No, sorry.
That dome team ain't going to the green ice and winning that game.
It was just painted. I'm like, what are we doing here? Painted? Because I think it had a bad snowstorm. The snow was piled up on the sidelines past the wall, and it was just a crazy experience. And it was still cold.
They didn't have something like that back home in Alabama, did they, Marcus?
No, they did not.
No, they did not.
No.
Let's get to your high school player and coach of the week this week. Who you got?
We have for high school CSX high school player of the week. It's Mr. Jalen Mitchell. Jalen had 6 tackles and 3 INTs. As a 3-year starter committed to Marist University. Is that the home of Jason Myers?
Yes, it is.
Home of Rick Smits, isn't it?
Oh, I like it.
Day.
Back in the day. Student of the game, loves watching film. He's a leader for his team and works extremely hard. It's some of his intangibles. He's great feet, comfortable with the ball in the air. They call him, instead of Jalen Mitchell, they call him baby Jalen Ramsey. So this kid is very talented. So congrats to Jalen Mitchell for CSX High School Player of the Week.
Very nice. How about Coach of the Week?
The High School Coach of the Week. The Whataburger High School Coach of the Week goes to my friend Daryl Sutherland down at Bartram Trail. Great coach, does a lot in the community, trying to make his players the best. Wants every young man to be successful and making an impact on the world. Believes in hard work, team camaraderie, and integrity. His favorite quote is one of my favorite, Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, do it working wholeheartedly unto the Lord and not to please man. So congratulations to Coach Sutherland for Whataburger's High School Coach of the Week, Week 5.
And he'll get something this week and then go in the pool for Coach of the Year.
Exactly right. Coach Sutherland will receive $1,500 from the Jaguars University Foundation and a Whataburger to be used any way he sees fit for his school. He'll also be entered to win $3,000 for High School Coach of the Year that will be awarded at some point later this year.
All right, Marcus Pollard at Arrowhead Stadium. Stay dry, will you?
Try to. Holding it down.
Thanks, Marcus.
Yes, you are. Marcus Pollard joining us each and every week. We caught up with Jaguars wide receivers coach Keenan McCardell this week. Thoughts about Dante Moncrief and D.D. Westbrook. Both of those guys stepped up last week, but also this offense as a whole. The Jags offense had 15 and 12 play drives to open the game last week in a winning result. When this offense is rolling like that, it's hard to stop, right?
It is, because we're really balanced. You don't know. We have a great run-to-pass ratio, and I think it keeps the defense off their, on their heels, and we just got to continue to do that.
Let's touch on a couple of the receivers from last week. Dante Moncrief, a guy who's been in the league for a few years now. He had a little bit of a struggle as this season has started, but last week, 5 targets, 5 catches, the long touchdown. Take us through the work he's done over the first few weeks to improve, and it finally paid off last week.
coming to a new system is always, rough at the beginning because you're trying to feel your way through it, trying to make sure you're on the same page as your quarterback. I think him and Blake has worked really hard about getting on the same page. And then, he's getting comfortable with the offense. And I think he shows his explosiveness last week, and the thing that I like, it was 5 targets, 5 catches. And, as a coach and as a receiver, every time you get a chance to catch the ball, you want to catch the ball, and he did that, and he made the most of his opportunities.
To build that relationship, does it take extra time after practice? What does it take to get together with a quarterback?
It takes extra time. It just takes belief during practice. You're running your routes full speed. You're on the same page with him. He's seeing the same coverages and stuff like that. So I think those are the things that him and Blake have worked out, and it showed up last week, and I hope it continues to show up the rest of the year.
Threw the ball at D.D. Westbrook a lot last week. 9 of those were catches, 130 yards for the second-year player, and you're starting to just see him grow and grow and grow as this thing moves along, D.D.
It is. I mean, I think he's starting to pick up everything like I want him to pick it up, and like we as coaches want him to pick it up. I think he's starting to understand that he can make a lot of plays inside. Last year he was predominantly outside. This year he's been playing inside and outside. So, he got some great matchups last week, and he took advantage of them. I always tell him in the room is that it's about matchups. When you get the right matchup, you got to take it, and you got to take advantage of it. Just don't be out there with the right matchup and not take advantage of it. So I think he took advantage of his matchups, and he made the most out of it.
You said learning it like you want him to learn it, like everybody wants him to learn it. How has he developed over the last year off the field?
I mean, when I say learn it as I want him to learn it, I'm thinking as a 17-year vet. Yeah. That's how he should know it. But you got to realize this is his second year. He only played half the season last year, and just a little less than half the season last year. And now that he's getting acclimated to playing inside and doing some of the things that we want him to do, the future for him is bright if he just continues to grow.
All right, final thought here about the noise at Arrowhead for a wide receiver crew. It's outside. How difficult is the environment at Arrowhead as a player back in your day, and what can you do to work through that this week?
It's going to be really loud. I mean, the best thing you can do is go score to quiet the crowd. That's the best thing you can do. But to get acclimated to what's going to happen at Arrowhead, you got to understand that you're watching the ball, you know your assignment, and you're coming off the ball fast. Every other movement means nothing, just only the ball. When the ball moves, we go.
Let's go get a W. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Keenan McCardell, wide receivers coach, 17-year career as a receiver in the National Football League, and now another season with the Jags receivers here. Last week they threw the ball at D.D. a lot. D.D. Westbrook, he had 9 catches in the game, I think 13 targets.
Right, by far the most targets he had in any game this year.
Oh, yeah. And then on the other side, Dante Moncrief, 5 targets, 5 catches. He's had some drops and a little bit of stops and starts as the season has gotten underway, but here he comes. The receiver crew stepped up last week.
Well, he was certainly efficient last week, and I had people asking me this week, what's wrong with Keelan Cole? Nothing's wrong with Keelan Cole. That's a good problem to have if you can't figure out who is the primary receiver, go figure out what the defensive coordinators are thinking about, right? I mean, who is the guy that you try to take out of the passing game? I think they're, Cole and Westbrook are almost interchangeable. They're not exactly the same receiver. I think Cole's a little bit more vertical, and you see Westbrook running more of the crossing routes, but they all can overlap some of their skill sets, and if they're all playing well, that's a great problem to have. Each one of them has already had a 100-yard game this season, so that's a good benefit for Blake Bortles.
Yeah, and we see, though, when things don't go well, what can happen for this offense. When drops happen or just off a little bit here or there, the offense kind of slows down. It doesn't go well.
And I think that's the case in a lot of places, right? I mean, these guys are really young. At least 2 of the 3 are in their second year here. And D.D. Westbrook hasn't played a full season in the National Football League. In terms of games played, he's basically a rookie or coming up on a complete year if you add in the playoff games. Keelan Cole really didn't hit the ground running the first half of the season last year. So these guys are incredibly young. They've got a lot of growing still to do. But you're right. Look, especially today, ball security, catching the balls that hit you in the hands, and then hanging on to the ball after you get it, JP. It's going to be a big factor with this weather.
All right, some of the speaking of weather, some of the social media reports today, everybody's been kicked off the field, the playing surface at Kansas City right now, and they're all underneath. There's a video of the Jaguars specialists underneath punting a ball to each other in the tunnel to get off the field, and not sure exactly what time they'll be allowed back on, but we'll keep you posted on that. As of right now, the game time is still 1 o'clock Eastern for the Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and rain is going to be a story all day today.
Yeah, the rain's not the issue. It's the lightning. The lightning and the crowd security and the liability of putting guys out there in those kind of conditions. They'll play through whatever the rain brings them. They'll play through muddy conditions if they have to, but it's the lightning. And, again, talking with Blair Kirkhoff of the Kansas City Star yesterday, he thought, based on the forecast he'd been watching, he said it's going to rain nonstop, but he goes around game time it's going to taper off a little bit. At least that was the local perspective, and hopefully with that some of the lightning in the area will go with it.
All right, coming up on the second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show, top headlines of the week. Barry Church visits with Mike Dempsey for a preview of this matchup against the Chiefs and quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Jags Chiefs at 1 o'clock at Arrowhead Stadium and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Grab your passport. Virgin Atlantic wants to send you and a friend across the pond to watch the Jaguars take on the Eagles in London this season. Visit jaguars.com/Virgin Atlantic to enter the Touchdown in London sweepstakes. You could win a round-trip flight on Virgin Atlantic, a 3-night hotel stay, 2 tickets, and sideline passes to the game. Don't miss out as the Jags take on the defending Super Bowl champions at Wembley Stadium. Visit jaguars.com/Virgin Atlantic. Keep calm and fly on, Jags fans.
This is Josh Lambo of the Jacksonville Jaguars alongside my dogs Lana and Wyatt. It's hard saying goodbye to these two on game day, but that all changed this year with the NFL's first ever in-stadium dog park, thanks to our partnership with Pet Paradise. Are you ready to bring your furry friend to the stadium? Enter the Pet Paradise Top Dog Sweepstakes. Each week, 10 lucky winners will receive 2 game tickets, a parking pass, and the chance to bring your dog to Pet Paradise Park at TIAA Bank Field. Visit jaguars.com/petparadise and enter today.
Be the MVP of your next tailgate with the official wing of the Jacksonville Jaguars from Dick's Wings and Grill. Whether at the stadium or cheering from home, game day every day with Dick's 365 wing varieties, burgers, wraps, and more. And for somewhere to catch all the sports action, Dick's Wings and Grill's 23 area locations have been a local fan favorite for more than 20 years. For the best wings, ice-cold craft beer, and best fans, feed where the big cats feast. Visit DicksWingsAndGrill.com for a location nearest you. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. SMART. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit RideSmartFlorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
In Florida, bicyclists have the same rights and responsibilities as everyone else on the road. So when you ride, follow the rules. Always wear a helmet and use lights on your bike. And drivers, watch for cyclists. Give them space to ride. And don't forget, when making that right on red, look to your right first to see if a cyclist is approaching in the bike lane. We all have a responsibility to keep ourselves and each other safe. Alert today, alive tomorrow. Because safety doesn't happen by accident. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
Welcome back. Second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show underway. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. 1 o'clock the kickoff time for the Jags and the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Series history. Jaguars lead the all-time series 6-5, but the Chiefs have won the last 3 meetings, including a 2016 result of 19-14. That was a game Kelsey got kicked out for throwing his towel at the referee.
He is a guy that historically has had trouble controlling his temper, and there's going to be a lot of trash talking out there on the field today. That is definitely a storyline I think you got to watch. I think he's calmed down a little bit. I think he's still got it in him, though.
And, of course, the weather will be an issue today. That the rain, they haven't allowed anybody on the field as of yet. We'll keep you posted on that and try to get an update from Kansas City when we talk to Rick Ballou coming up, John Ogier, and we'll have Baselli and Logman back a little bit later as well. Let's get to today's top stories, and let's start off with that last meeting back in 2016. That was Nathaniel Hackett's first game as the offensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars after the firing of Greg Olson. Hackett came in. That day they gave up the ball a good bit, and since that game, the offense for quarterback Blake Bortles has grown up a bit.
At that moment, it was trying to memorize plays and, what do we want to run against, and, to whereas now it's, I think everybody has an understanding of the playbook and the concepts that we're trying to get run and what we're trying to run it against and how it should look when it's run the right way. So I'd say that's probably the biggest difference is everybody knowing what, each play should look like, where it should go, who should be where. I think that allows us to, as an offense and as a group, keep each other accountable as far as where you're at and supposed to be doing the right thing and all that.
It seems like such a long time ago it is in the way this organization has gone, but that 2016 season, and then of course, last season happened and things are going well right now for this Jaguars team. But, yeah, it's amazing to think about that last Kansas City game. They turned the ball over a bunch in the game, didn't look great. It was just a sloppy game all around. But that was Hackett's first game as the coordinator.
Yeah, well, let's hope we don't have a repeat of the sloppiness. But, Nathaniel Hackett and Blake Bortles have both talked a lot this offseason and into the season about how it's not like Blake just described there, memorizing plays anymore. It's a guy who has a much better command of the offense, that what the plays are. Now you're trying to decide which ones are going to be the most effective against your opponent, what tweaks you're going to put in for that week. But it's not something that I'm trying to recall, okay, what does this play mean? What does this do? It's more of an instant recall situation. And when you talk about a quarterback having ownership of the offense, that's what they're talking about. And more time, that's what it takes. A couple of years in now with Nathaniel Hackett, Blake should be getting better in that department.
Jalen Ramsey in the news this week. Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill earlier in the week had some comments about Jalen and the matchup, saying that he would look forward to Jalen Ramsey pressing him at the line of scrimmage. Well, Jalen Ramsey responded on Thursday.
Me and Tyreek, we're going to probably have some opportunities to match up against each other, but it won't be like that for majority of the game. I think everybody knows that. He moves around everywhere. He plays running back, receiver, slot. Like he's not out there on that island 90% of the time where I'm at. I don't look at it as me versus him. I don't think this is really a matchup game, to be honest with you.
But when he says I hope he presses me, you have to be careful what you wish for.
If you look at my film, what do I do every week? I play press, right, every week, no matter who I'm playing. So. If he wants smoke, it'll get there.
If he wants smoke, it'll get there, Jalen says.
Does he play press every week?
I don't know.
I think his team plays an awful lot of zone, man. I mean, that's a little bit odd to me. I mean, I think he wants the idea that he's out there pressing every receiver in the National Football League. I'm not sure that that's factual.
It's good fodder, though.
That's maybe good fodder. I'm just saying, though. Look, I think he's right about this. It's not Jalen versus Tyreek Hill. I think, honestly, A.J. Boye may be better suited to cover Tyreek Hill. He's a little smaller, shiftier type player. He's a former running back. Jalen at 6'3", to keep up with a 5'11" receiver, 5'10", 5'11", it poses some different kind of problems, too. He's got that short area quickness. Now, if you can get a jam on the line, that'd be great. But if he slips that, Tyreek Hill's a nightmare to deal with, and he's right about this. He lines up everywhere. They put him in the backfield like a running back. 3 times against Denver on Monday Night Football this past week, they ran him from one end of the formation completely over to the other side, motioned him from the far side to the far side, and ran 3 different plays off of it. One of them went to him. A couple of them faked the ball to him. So they're going to use him in a lot of different ways. He is their chess piece.
Telvin Smith, defensive captain, the Jaguars linebacker, could not hide his smile this week at the podium. He spoke on Wednesday, as he does each and every week, and was giddy about the matchups this Jaguars defense has this week.
I love our matchups. You know what I mean? It's no time that we're going to step on the field and be outmatched. We're going to have to go out and make sure we play, make sure we're ready to run, make sure we buckle our chin straps and get ready to come downhill on the run. And everybody just have a lot of energy, and we should have a great game.
They asked him in the press conference, hey, why are you smiling so much today? He's like, well, come see me after the game, and I'll tell you why I'm smiling so much.
I hope he's right. Look, he did a fantastic job on Rob Gronkowski. He's probably going to be called upon a lot on Travis Kelce today. They got Demetrius Harris out there as well. So you got a lot of different tight end looks they can give you. But if this team doesn't have the personnel to match up with any offense, there is none in the National Football League that does.
Jaguars defense, speed on that side of the ball. Chiefs offense has that speed as well. Tashawn Gibson fired up for the challenge this week.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'm taking this defense over no matter who we playing against, no matter who's at quarterback. We shown that. No matter who's on offense. So we got the guys over here to do it, man. So like I said, man, this is something that we built for. We built on speed. We built on toughness, man, and we built on just that fire and passion. So I guess we're gonna have a good outing come Sunday, man. It's gonna be an exciting opportunity.
Yeah, Tashawn Gibson, this Jaguars defense ready for the challenge this week. Logan Cook is something we haven't really talked about much this week yet. I mean, obviously Tyreek Hill, as Jalen Ramsey reminded you, is a return specialist Pro Bowler, and he has one to the house this year, 4 in his career. He also had a kickoff return in his rookie season. He no longer returns kickoffs, but 4 punt return touchdowns in his career. The guy can score from anywhere on the field. Last week's performance by Logan Cook, Mike, was I think his best as a pro, at least in his rookie season. Flipped the field, angling punts, putting it on the right spot. He's great inside the 20. Well, today he's got to be exceptional and be right on point and maybe not even let the guy touch the ball.
Yeah, it may be a case if you can get 38, 40 yards and have it go out of bounds, you'll take that net every time because the threat of Tyreek Hill. Look, I know players are like, we're not afraid of anybody. You have to be respectful of the ability of what these guys can do. If you don't respect the return ability of Tyreek Hill, he will burn you. Nobody's punting the ball right down the middle of the field, nor should they against the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll see how aggressive they are, the special teams unit today, what Joe DeCamillis calls upon Cook to do.
There you have it, some of today's top stories. This portion of the Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. Each week we visit with head team physician for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Dr. Kevin Kaplan of Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Hostile environment today in Kansas City.
It's certainly loud there, isn't it?
It's going to be fun. The game of the week in the National Football League, 4-0 Chiefs, 3-1 Jaguars. We talked shoulders today. That's your specialty, by the way, the shoulder. What's the difference between a shoulder dislocation and a shoulder separation?
So usually when people refer to a dislocation, they're talking about the humeral head and the glenoid, which is the ball and socket joint of your shoulder. And so when someone lands on an outstretched arm, they can actually pop the ball out of the socket. That's a shoulder dislocation. And when you hear terms like separation, usually people are referring to the AC joint, which is the acromioclavicular joint, which is between the collarbone or the clavicle and the shoulder blade or the acromion. And so those two injuries are obviously very different in terms of can you play with it and how we treat it.
We hear a lot of times you pop it back in if it's dislocated. Is that true? Could you do that on the field?
Kind of like Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson popping his shoulder
exactly.
back in. So the answer is actually the easiest time it's called reducing the dislocation. To reduce a dislocation is right near the time when it happens. If you wait too long, the muscles get very tight. So usually I can very gently, actually, even in a very big guy, reduce or put the shoulder back into place. And that's assuming there's no broken bone or no fracture. And players will have a big sense of relief in getting the ball kind of centered back in the socket because when it's out, it's extremely uncomfortable.
Is it when it's dislocated? Is it just dislocated? Are there grades different? I know for separations there are different grades, right?
Right. Separations. When you talk about the AC joint, it's the level with which the bones are separated. Because what happens there is the ligaments that connect the collarbone to the shoulder blade can either tear, and the number of ligaments that are torn will allow the collarbone to creep higher and higher. And so those are degrees of separation. With the dislocation, it's really either you dislocate it, which means it comes completely out of the joint, or you can subluxate the shoulder where it kind of slides out a little bit and then clunks or pops back into place.
Why are shoulders your specialty?
Well, shoulders and knees are what I did the most of in terms of my fellowship out in California, and I really enjoy taking care of shoulders and knees. I take care of other parts of the body. I used to operate on the hips, and the other body part that I really do a lot of is the elbow and Tommy John reconstructions and baseball players. But most of the injuries that we see in our athletes typically deal with shoulders and knees, and we have our specialties that surgeons that take care of the hands and the feet.
Since you are a specialist in this area, you should know the answer to this next question. How many bones are in the shoulder?
So you have your shoulder blade, your collarbone, and then your humerus. So really there are three major bones that are in the upper extremity, but there are a lot of joints there and a lot of moving parts. The shoulder blade has the glenoid or the socket on it, and it also is the area where all of your rotator cuff muscles attach. And those two muscles start on the bone, and then they turn into a tendon and attach to another bone. And when your brain tells your body to contract those muscles, that's how we lift our arm, and that's how we move. So it's still a very complex area, even though there are not a lot of bones in that area.
Well, next time I get the old wing loose to wing the ball around, I'll have to give you a call.
Sounds
Takes
good.
a little time.
I think you got some time left in your career.
Thanks, Doc.
All right.
Dr. Kevin Kaplan each and every week. An update from Kansas City. Social media reports now the players are back on the field. It's good news. The rain has slowed down a bit. But this is going to be a storyline throughout the day. Rain expected throughout the day for the Chiefs and the Jaguars. We'll return with Lamb at large. He's back in studio with us here in Week 5. Plus, slowing down the Chiefs' offense with defensive tackle Avery Jones. We're about 20 minutes away from the announcement of the inactives for today's game. Jags-Chiefs at 1 o'clock at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
At ViStar, we believe in better, especially in helping build a better financial future for our members. So we've reviewed our offerings from the ground up. We've lowered or eliminated over half our fees and enhanced our already competitive rates, saving members more than $1 million this year, in addition to the millions we save them every year. If you believe that saving money is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Jaguars fans, Ashley Home Store is where you'll find the perfect Tempur-Pedic mattress to power your life. As the #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer in America and the official furniture and mattress store of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ashley Home Store offers Jaguars fans special pricing and 72 months no-interest financing. Just tell them the Jaguar sent you. Plus, a portion of every mattress sold helps provide free beds to local children in need. Shop for Tempur-Pedic at Ashley Home Store today and go Jaguars. Subject to credit approval. See store for details.
Did you hear? The last 2 years, the Jaguars returned a punt for a touchdown, earning local families $100,000 towards a Dreamfinders home. Lauren Brooks here, letting you know that could be you this season. Visit any Dreamfinders Homes model and register to win the Take It to the House promotion for your chance at scoring $100,000 towards your Dreamfinders home. Dreamfinders Homes, homes built to fit your lifestyle.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here for the best barbecue in town. That is Bono's. Head to Bono's today. 15 locations on the First Coast and 6 more at TIAA Bank Field. You see, Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want great barbecue, you want Bono's. Plenty of parking, clean family restaurants, and oh, by the way, the best barbecue you have ever had. So if you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today, the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow, our Jags are hot. Time to treat yourself to the cool, creamy deliciousness of a Yobi frozen yogurt. All Yobi low-fat or fat-free frozen yogurts are made with real milk, no artificial flavors, and some are as little as 25 calories per ounce. So it's easy to be game day ready. Plus, all Yobi's great toppings and fresh-cut fruit are included. Fans, stay up on all the latest offers and tasty new flavors added every month with the Yobi app. Visit myyobi.com for details and find a location near you. Yobi is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At Papa John's, we like to say, better sausage, better beef, better bacon, better julienne-cut Canadian bacon, better pepperoni. Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium meats pizza made with 5 premium meats free of artificial flavors or fillers. Or our new barbecue meats pizza made with smoky Southern-style barbecue sauce for only $6.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tip, and delivery fee extra.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiaAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field. It's Week 5. The Jags and the Chiefs at 1 o'clock at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Jaguars Radio Network coverage begins at noon with countdown to kickoff. We'll take you up to the opening kick as always, about 15 minutes away from the inactives. And each week we visit with the guru, David Lamb. He's back in studio with us this week for Lamb at Large.
I've used you and Mike JP as my guiding lights, and I know you have to play hurt. You have to play injured, so here I am in studio as we're getting ready for the biggest game in the NFL this week, and one of the biggest, maybe the biggest of the year so far. And, you know, looking at that offense versus defense, well, if the same rules were in place now, 35 years ago, the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens, we'd remember them as a good defensive team, but maybe not the greatest team. We might even not even remember them for that. How would Dan Hampton and Wilbur Marshall of the Bears, Marvin Lewis and Ed Reed of the Ravens, how would they do in today's rules where you can't touch a receiver after 5 yards? Receivers go across the middle. If you hit them now, you're penalized, suspended, fined because you've hit a defenseless player. I don't think Ed Reed would like these rules. And offensive linemen. They use their hands like they've never used them so much. Hell, they can practically tackle defensive linemen, do everything but tackle them, and sometimes they can do that. And then, of course, the pass rushers. You can't hit the quarterback high. You can't hit him low. You can't hit him too hard. We've seen this year, I think twice last week, if you bump into them, you're liable to get that flag, which is a suspension maybe, and a fine. So all this leads up to how remarkable the Jaguars' defense has been last year and this season thus far with these kinds of rules for them to have been so good. But how will that stack up against the best offensive team? Everything favors the offense, and now the Jaguars. The Jaguars this year have faced an over-the-hill quarterback in Eli Manning. They faced a great quarterback, the greatest, without any of his receivers. They faced in Mariota, I think, a very middle-of-the-road type quarterback. And last week they faced a rookie. Well, now they're facing the hottest quarterback in the league, the Chiefs' good running game, great speed outside, outstanding receivers. It used to be offense versus defense. Historically, defense would win that. Times have changed. I now think because of how the rules have changed, offense versus defense, I think offense has a huge edge, and I think the Jaguars will have a very hard time under these rules being able to slow down the Chiefs. And so I don't expect the Jaguars to be able to win today. They can win, certainly, but I don't think they will win just because I think the rules so much give the Chiefs the advantage because offense is their stick. So 31-24 Kansas City, but in no way does this diminish how good the Jaguars' defense is under today's rules. And I think we have to remember that they're playing almost with their hands tied compared to what the 85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens and, probably the two maybe greatest defenses in modern history, according to historians. I don't think those days, we'll see those days again.
There you have it, David Lamb with Lamb at Large. The glass is half empty today, Dave, on the Jaguars defense.
Mike, surely you've got a challenge here.
No, I mean, look, I'm not going to – your prediction is your prediction. I guess I would ask you, how does then the Jaguars, let's call it an average offense, face a terrible defense? If the rules are in favor of the offense, wouldn't the Jags maybe have an even bigger advantage when their offense is on the field than Kansas City does?
Well, I did. Number one, we call, say, the terrible defense their last. The Chiefs' defense, we know it's not terrible.
They're giving up 450 yards a game.
And what are the Jaguars? They're the leaders in defense. How many yards do they give up?
I don't know the exact number of yards, but they give it the fewest passing yards, second fewest rushing yards, and the fewest points.
I'll bet you the Chiefs, being ranked 32nd, and I don't have stats in front of me, are 15 yards from being in the middle of the pack? I mean, the statistics, I think you really need to look at them. Sometimes it's literally that close between the middle and the bottom of the middle of the top.
Let's take a look here.
There's only a handful of yards.
They're about 100 yards from the middle of the pack.
Okay, well, 100 yards?
451 yards a game.
Yeah, the middle of the pack's about 366.
Well, again,
I Jags are giving up 259.
I expect the Jaguars to put up some points. I don't think I'm not looking for the Chiefs to blow them out. Like I said, I think the Jaguars score in the 20s, maybe 30s, but I think the Chiefs will get into 30s and
you may be right. 30s. I just think that it works both ways is all.
Well, I think the offense, though, gets such an edge. And if the Chiefs' offense – would you say the Chiefs have a better offense than the Jaguars?
Sure, but
Okay.
the Jags have a light years better. The Jaguars' defense is so much better than the Chiefs' defense. The Chiefs' offense is not as much better than the Jaguars' offense as the Jaguars' defense is better than the Chiefs' defense, if that makes sense.
Boy, if you wrote that down, that
I
would
know.
be
I need a roadmap way to say that, but you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying. Listen, I hope for everybody around here the Jaguars' offense can crank it up and play. But listen, Bortles has had a couple of outstanding games. Outstanding. If he could have another one of those, then he probably should be expected to with the Chiefs' defense. But again, we go back to the rain, and that's probably going to slow both the offenses down a little bit. You know what I'm going to hate? I'm going to hate that it's 31-24, and Calais Campbell or Miles Jack comes in and just puts on a great sack of Patrick Mahomes. I mean, hits him right in the numbers, knocks him back. He fumbles the ball, and here comes the flag saying, you hit him too hard.
Not if you hit him in the numbers, you won't.
Well, but
don't fall on him.
But you fell
don't fall on him.
Okay, but you fell
But
on
you can
him.
hit him hard.
Well, I was going as fast as I could, and when I hit him, you know, it's pretty hard to shift weight at that point. That's what I fear, and that's what I think will kill great defenses now, is they get that flag for what used to be considered a great defensive play. Or you get Tyreek going across the middle, and somebody lays him out. Well, here comes the flag. Well, it was a good tackle. Well, he was defenseless. You better be gentle with him. You know, as you can tell, I don't like the new rules.
I was wondering where
I'm a
were
little
you
old
leaning?
school. I believe in safety. I don't think we ought to have the headhunters that we used to have, and going for the head to tackle. I'm glad they've legislated a lot of that out, but they've gone too far. And I think the reason they've gone too far, I'm going to give you a quick analogy that I think what the NFL is doing on these rules. I remember when gas was 80 cents a gallon. And all of a sudden, in no time, it seemed like it was $3.50, $4, and we are just distraught. And just, how can it be that high? Well, then quietly it goes back down, and now it's the $2.50, $2.75, and we just accept that. So what you do is you want the price to jump way up. Well, you jump it way up, and then you bring it back down, and all of a sudden, we go to the pump, and it's $2.70, and nobody says anything. Used to be a story every day how high the gas prices were. So I think the NFL is making these rules almost to the point of being ridiculous, and then they will back off of them a little bit once the defenders, go for what Von Miller said on sacks, his advice, go for the ball. Don't even go for the quarterback. Yeah. Just try to find the ball and go tackle the ball, and that's the safest way to not get flagged. So anyway, offense versus defense, I'm afraid offense in this day and age has a huge advantage.
Don't disagree as a rule. I mean, look at the Super Bowl. Crazy shootout, right?
Yeah.
Brady's thrown for 500 yards in back-to-back Super Bowls, so kind of hard to argue the overall point. But.
Well, all the passing records, they're just falling by the wayside. I mean,
Drew Brees might have 72,000 yards after Monday Night Football.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that makes him.
That's an actual statistic.
I don't know how much a better quarterback Drew Brees is than some of the outstanding quarterbacks of the Otto Graham. I don't know that these guys are better than Otto Graham, but if you look at them statistically, Otto Graham would be third string based on his numbers compared to theirs. And Johnny Unitas. I mean, his numbers don't even compare anymore, unfortunately. So, change the rules.
Leave it to David Lamb to bring an Otto Graham reference onto the program.
Well,
today.
somebody had to. Come on, guys.
David Lamb.
You haven't mentioned Otto Graham all year because I've been listening to the pregame show.
You're right about that. Although I think
we got it in
Wyatt
week 5.
Got
it in.
Wyatt Tittle could play. What an iconic picture.
Sorry, I said anything, JP.
Dave, good to see you, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, thanks.
David Lamb with Lamb at Large. Jags defense, of course, has the test today against the top-scoring offense in football. Avery Jones on the defensive line might have a hand in slowing them down.
There's a lot of talk about this Chiefs offense. You guys tired of hearing all that this week or what?
No, we pretty much focus on them. I mean, I like to hear about them just to really build up the hype for the game. It's a challenge that we really want to take on, and I want everyone to see how good they are so when we go out there and stop them, we get the credit we deserve.
All the focus is on the quarterback, but they can run the football too now. They balance some things out of this offense, and it's still important to stop the run against this Chiefs team because they'll just run the ball all day if you don't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know who in their right mind has forgot about Kareem Hunt. I mean, probably just, a fantasy football guy, you're just looking at stats. But no, we definitely have forgot about him. We know how much he can change that offense, and really he can pretty much, we saw last year in the beginning of the year how he put the team on his back with his rushing. So definitely if we want any chance to win this game, we got to take him out first.
And then when Mahomes does have it, he can move around with it. He can get out of the pocket and make plays. And that's the challenge with a guy like that. Is the play's never over with him because he can move too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's coming out. We got to be disciplined in our pass rush and don't really let him get out and escape. He has great athletes on the outside, and when he gets out the pocket and DBs try to plaster, they do a great job of getting away and getting open in the spaces. So if we contain him in the pocket, trying to mess up his vision and kind of just really mess up any throws he has to make.
What would it mean? I know it's the start of the second quarter, but to go into Kansas City, would that send a statement? Do you guys believe in that this early in the season about where you guys stand in the AFC, or does that matter to you right now?
I mean, every game matters to us, but this one would definitely matter. Just, everyone knows the atmosphere in Kansas City and the year they're starting off with. But, I mean, to get where we're trying to go, we have to prove to ourselves and to people watching that we can go on the road and win tough games.
There's Avery Jones, big nose tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Been around here for 6 seasons, an undrafted player. 6 seasons, I should say, an undrafted player, and has stuck around here through some bad times, and now the good times are here. And he's a big part of what this group does up front. He may not have the notoriety, the paycheck of some of the other guys up front, but he's a big part of this defense.
Well, if you didn't have him, every time Marcel Darius is off the field, you'd be in big trouble, right? At least against the run. And Avery was part of a defense that was worse in the league against the run until they got Darius last year. So it's not like he's on that kind of level, but he's a very solid player. He's just one of the guys, JP, there's so many outstanding players on that side of the ball that he may be, I don't know, the 13th or 14th best guy literally over there, but he's a good football player. Any team would be happy to have him on the roster, so that just goes to show you how deep they are.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is a defense that has a big test today, though, against Patrick Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, the list goes on.
Sammy
and on.
Watkins.
Oh, yeah, he's on the football team, too.
He's expected to play with the groin injury he suffered in
when he's
Monday
fourth
night's
down
game.
the list, that tells you how the offense
Exactly.
is.
Look, Mahomes has thrown touchdowns to 8 different players. Yep. So he's spread it out a good bit. I'm telling you, Demetrius Harris is a guy to watch today. It goes about 6'7", and can line up on the other side of the line from Travis Kelce and be a real matchup problem.
We'll hear from Barry Church when we return. Mike Dempsey's visit with the Jaguars safety. A conversation about that Chiefs offense coming up. Jags-Chiefs in Week 5 at 1 o'clock at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Inactives are due in just a moment. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
The CSI Companies has been getting the people business right for more than 20 years in Jacksonville. CSI proudly opened their doors just as the Jaguars came to town, and they've been valuable business partners for some of Jacksonville's largest companies. Do you have a need for temporary help during a busy time period? Looking for a team of IT consultants for a special project? CSI can help. Call them at 800-582-0828 or go to thecsicompanies.com. Don't partner with just anyone. Partner with the CSI Companies, proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hello, I'm Eddie Farah. If you've been injured in an auto accident, someone may ask you to sign a release. Don't do it. Without consulting a lawyer, you may be signing away your rights. We invite you to bring us your release. We'll review it and your case for free. We represent accident victims. There's never a charge to talk about your case, and we're only paid when we collect for you. Call us at 396-5555. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979. Office, Jacksonville.
If you've ever been in a vehicle crash, then you know the impact caused by a collision. Now imagine the force of a crash so great, people are killed. My name is Eric. I sat behind the wheel and drove drunk. I caused a crash that killed 2 young women, Megan and Lisa. Now, I sit alone in my jail cell. Megan and Lisa were taken forever, and their families and friends were left devastated. Don't drink and drive, and remember our roadways are connected to our families.
This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
The First Coast will see green when the Jacksonville Jaguars take the field this season thanks to SunPass. For every regular season first down recorded by the Jaguars in 2018, SunPass will make a donation toward the planting of new trees in Jacksonville. A run by Leonard Fournette, a pass from Blake Bortles, every first down turns over a new leaf right here in Northeast Florida. Visit jaguars.com/trees to learn more about first downs for trees presented by SunPass. Get ready to go green, Jags fans. #JagsPlantTrees.
As a young boy, Gavin loved playing football. He lived and breathed it, wanted to go pro. Why, he'd spend hours upon hours just practicing his touchdown dances. And one day, while getting fitted for bifocals, he realized he was never much good at throwing, or running, or catching, or even kicking. Yeah, Gavin's chances of playing pro football were looking like fourth and long. Very long. But he did hear how Geico could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. Then he did kind of a touchdown dance. At least he was still good at that.
Who's the Jaguars MVP? At Mellow Mushroom, it all depends on their favorite ingredients. Each month of the 2018 season, Mellow Mushroom will highlight a Jaguars player's most valuable pizza and raise money for a charity of their choice. This September, try the Funky Q and support Blake Bortles and the Blake Bortles Foundation and its work with first responders and individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Visit mellowmushroom.com and find a restaurant location near you.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field, Week 5. Jaguars Chiefs coming up at 1 o'clock at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. A rainy day out in the middle of the country, and that will be the story throughout the day today. And the field is open, though. There are players getting loose and warmed up, which is a good sign for the start time of today's game at 1 o'clock. Inactives are due any moment. When we get those, we will pass those along to you. You had a chance this week to visit with Barry Church, and this is Jaguars defense has quite a matchup on their hands this week. Barry knows that.
Oh, they absolutely do, and they're looking to make their mark in the turnover department as well, and that's been a talking point for the last couple of weeks. So here it is, my conversation with Barry Church. Brought to you by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. We get a few minutes here with Jaguar safety Barry Church. Barry, good start to the season, man. 3-1. Are you satisfied? I'm sure you wanted to win all four, but how good do you guys feel about the way you performed the first month of the season?
Yeah, we definitely feel like it's been a solid start so far. 3-1, like you said, in the first quarter. We would have definitely loved to have that game against the Titans. But, we get another shot at them later on in the season. But 3-1 against a solid group of teams that we played against. So it's a great way to start the first quarter. Now we headed in the second quarter, starting with Kansas City, which will be an unbelievable challenge for us.
No doubt. And it's great offense-defense matchup. And certainly those are not the only aspects of this one. But you guys, your unit defensively, number 1 overall in yards allowed, number 1 against the pass, number 2 against the run, number 1 in scoring. That's pretty good. Where is there room for improvement on that side of the ball?
I would just have to say communication as a whole. I mean, sometimes in that last game against the Jets, particular, we had a couple busts on the defensive side of the ball. Miscommunication here and there, and so I think that's the main thing that we got to slow up a little bit because it's going to be almost impossible to drive the full field on us as a defense. But if we make mistakes and allow you to get explosive plays down the sidelines, that helps offenses a lot. So if we can just kind of narrow up our mishaps or our mental bust, then we should be all right.
It looked like Deshaun Gibson was going to break that streak and get the first interception for the secondary. You had it, and then a penalty wiped it out. Is that one of those deals where once you get 1 or 2, they can kind of start to steamroll and you get them in bunches?
Oh, for sure. Last year, we started out hot. And we kind of kept that going through the whole season. So, once you get, once someone in the secondary, let's say that, someone in the secondary gets one pick or causes some type of takeaway, then it kind of rolls down the hill, and then everybody kind of picks up on it. So we're just looking forward to getting that first pick and then starting to train from there.
We had talked about in the preseason about Ronnie Harrison and the impact he was making just, building up to the year. First month of the season, how has he done?
I feel like he's done a great job. He's a real student of the game. He watches film, and he's picking up on our defense extremely fast. He's been playing a lot in our what we call Bruno package, which is kind of like a 3 safety look against first and second down against, big personnel on the opposite team. And he's been playing perfect with that. I mean, he's been fitting well, and the communication's been great on there. There's no explosive plays on his side. So he's been doing a great job at that, and we're just going to keep adding to that package and see what we can do.
There's a team in Kansas City that will play some big personnel, particularly 2 tight end sets. When you watch them on film, obviously they've been off to a great start offensively. What stands out to you?
What stands out to me would have to be Mahomes in one, but the way he kind of extends plays. I mean, the way it kind of breaks down in front of him, and he's able to almost, Russell Wilson like kind of get away from the pressure, and then his arm strength is something that I've never seen before. He's able to launch a ball in air like 70 yards. So that's the main thing we've been harping on as a defense is just once a play breaks down, because there's going to be plays out there when he kind of eludes the D line and kind of gets out of the pocket where we got to plaster our receivers and make sure we don't let anything over top of our head, because that's a lot of the ways that they're exploiting defenses is extending the play and launching one deep down the field.
Have you played an Arrowhead before?
Only one time in my 9-year career. I've only played there one time. We lost like 10-13, but that's a great atmosphere. I mean, it's loud as heck. It's probably one of the loudest, if not the loudest stadium in the NFL. But it's going to be a great atmosphere to play again.
Again, nothing taken away from your offense, which has a great opportunity going up against Kansas City's defense this week. But number 1 defense for the Jags, currently number 1 offense for Kansas City. Does that get you a little bit extra hyped for this matchup?
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, going against, as a competitor, that's what you love, just a challenge of another great, opposing team, and they have a great offense and we have a great defense. So it's going to be, a clash of titans, as they say. But I think we're ready for it. We have the personnel to match against their personnel, so just got to see who can make more plays.
Look forward to seeing it coming up here shortly, and regardless of the score, high scoring, low scoring, we'll take a W. I'm sure you will as well, Barry.
Either way, as long as we get that W, that's all that matters.
Hey, good luck today, man.
All right, thank you very much.
The voice of reason in the Jaguars secondary, Barry Church.
I do like, though, it's good to admit, you know what? Offense, defense, number 1 versus number 1, it gets you a little bit more hyped up, right? Every game is not the biggest game in the world. It is the next one you play. It's the only one you can control, but there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit extra excited for a matchup like this.
Okay, the inactives have been announced for this game. Let's start off with the Jaguars 7 that'll be down today. DJ Hayden, cornerback, still fighting a toe issue. He's out. Leonard Fournette was ruled out on Wednesday. He is inactive today with a hamstring issue. Trey Herndon, the cornerback, came on the injury report late in the week. He is inactive today. The Jaguars had to make a transaction yesterday to fill that spot. We'll get to that in a moment. Eli Anku, defensive tackle, is out today. Chris Reed, inactive offensive lineman. Will Richardson on the O-line, and DeJuan Smoot on the defensive line. Those are the 7 inactive. The Jaguars released Rashad Green, senior, the wide receiver, to bring up Quentin Meeks from the practice squad. So Meeks is going to take the role of Herndon today. A lot of that is on special teams for the Jags. And T.J. Yeldon, officially the starter at running back.
Yeah, Meeks was a guy a lot of draft picks really liked, thought he might be a mid-round pick, and slid all the way through the draft. So he was a kind of a gem, diamond in the rough type that the Jags were able to grab in undrafted free agency. For the Chiefs today, inactive's biggest name. He's been out all year. No surprise here. Eric Berry, the safety, is not available, and that's probably contributing to why they have been the worst defense in the National Football League. Elsewhere, defensive back Josh Shaw, running back Darrell Williams, quarterback Tremont Smith, a couple of offensive linemen, Austin Ryder and Khalil McKenzie, and Justin Hamilton on the defensive line, all inactive for Kansas City.
All right, the inactives are in. The Jags and the Chiefs coming up at 1 o'clock, and it's time for our weekly visit with Jaguars sideline reporter Rick Ballou. We head to Arrowhead Stadium for Has Rick Lost It?
All right, 90 minutes before kick. It is certainly raining here. Ugly weather in Kansas City, no question about it. Where this is really being billed as Mahomes and the number 1 ranked offense in the NFL against the number 1 ranked defense. I was really surprised to find out that earlier this week, the last 6 times you've had a number 1 ranked offense against a number 1 ranked defense, it was actually the offense, which has won 5 of those 6 games. On the flip side, you look at a quarterback with less than 10 starts in 2+ years. Jaguars PR let this number out earlier in the week. The Jags are 5-1 in those meetings, so that does sit well today for Patrick Mahomes, who's only making his 5th start this year, 6 overall. Hey, on the other side, Blake Bortles, he's played in the rain. This is a 66 consecutive start for Bortles. So, today, the Jaguars, they need to start fast. They did it a couple of weeks ago against the New England Patriots. Last week against the Jets, their first 4 possessions resulted in points. JP and Mike, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about success on first down. The world of the NFL, it all comes down to third down. But in a game like today, field position is huge, and down in distance is huge. 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3. So much better, obviously, than 2nd and 10 and 2nd and 9. So far this year, Blake Bortles, a quarterback rating of 116.9 on first down. I think that'll be a factor in this game. The crowd is incredible. Got here at 8 o'clock local time, 9 o'clock back in Jacksonville. 4 hours before kick, place was already slightly filled, but filling in now as we get closer to the game time. Out here, taking in the rain, the barbecue that was going on. They call this the loudest place in the NFL. And being in this building 2 years ago, watching Nick Foles come off the bench, beating the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's hard to argue with that point. I will say this, though. Temperature today, I believe, will favor the Jaguars. Why? They just played 3 straight games in the brutally hot sun of Jacksonville. If I'm a professional football player today, I'm loving this weather. This is football weather, and I think that as well will be an advantage for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Last 3, they should have had 3 picks, a penalty, a couple of dropped INTs. Finally, they get a quarterback who will challenge this secondary, and he will so early. Darnold did late because he was forced to. Brady, Eli, and Mariota, really for the most part, did not. Mahomes loves to throw the football downfield. I'm predicting 3 takeaways today by the Jags, including 2 picks by the secondary. I have the Jaguars a winner, 27-21.
There you have it, Rick Ballou. It's also good sideline reporting weather today, I've been told.
Oh,
right?
no.
Yeah, right?
Well, here's what I'm going to go with. All right, I just noticed this. There's been a lot of complaining going around by unnamed members of the media because here in the barbecue capital of the world, they just serve Chinese food, and some folks here aren't happy. So I'm going to predict that when we get down on the field in 90 minutes, the rain's going to go away as well. How does that sound?
I like that. Good luck to you. We hope for your sake that it remains dry.
Hey, JP, this is Tony.
Hey, Tony. Wait a minute, that's Tony Baselli? We didn't know.
Let me tell you something. The food was disappointing. I mean, listen, I'm not a big Chinese food fan, but nothing against it. Good Chinese food. I'm for that, once a month or so. But we're in the barbecue capital of the country, and I got Chinese food. Yeah. What the heck is going on in Kansas City? You know what? Just because of that, I'm changing the outcome prediction of this game. I said it was going to be a 3-point game. Jaguars win by 3 touchdowns. After that.
Wow. Tony might have lost it. I kind of like it. Rick, thank you very much. Good luck to you today. Tony, we'll talk to you
guys.
in mere moments.
Thank you, Rick.
Yes, it's pretty entertaining stuff. We'll hear from Tony.
I could go. Now I'm hungry for Chinese
food. I know. I'm
food.
starving. It's lunchtime, right? Let's get some food around here. Coming up on the Publix Tailgate Show, a visit with the Ozone. We'll see what he thinks of the spread up there, too, today as well. Senior writer John Ozer joins us from Arrowhead. Jeff Lageman, and, you just heard him, Tony Baselli. They'll be back with some final thoughts. Jaguars Radio Network coverage starts at noon with Countdown to Kickoff. We're a little over an hour away from Week 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
This is Josh Lambo of the Jacksonville Jaguars alongside my dogs Lana and Wyatt. It's hard saying goodbye to these two on game day, but that all changed this year with the NFL's first ever in-stadium dog park thanks to our partnership with Pet Paradise. Are you ready to bring your furry friend to the stadium? Enter the Pet Paradise Top Dog Sweepstakes. Each week, 10 lucky winners will receive 2 game tickets, a parking pass, and the chance to bring your dog to Pet Paradise Park at TIAA Bank Field. Visit jaguars.com/petparadise and enter today.
Looking to tailgate your dream RV this football season? Visit Campers Inn RV and shop their huge selection of fifth wheels, motorhomes, and travel trailers from the top manufacturers. Plus, with their integrity pricing guarantee, you'll never pay more for freight or dealer prep. There are no hidden fees in their prices ever. As a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're offering this season's game attendees $500 off the purchase of a new RV. Just show them your ticket. Visit Campers Inn RV, the RVer's trusted resource, I-10 West, exit 351, or campersinn.com today.
Attention Jags fans, this is your chance for you and 3 of your friends to fly to Houston to see the Jaguars take on the Houston Texans December 30th. All you have to do is download the free Money Pages app today, and you can enter to win airfare, hotel stay, and tickets to the big game, all covered. The savings don't stop there. When you download the free Money Pages mobile app, you'll unlock great local savings on the go. So it's simple. Pick up your phone, go to the App Store, and search for the free Money Pages app. Good luck, and go Jaguars!
This is the Pepsi that your father drank and your grandfather drank.
When I was your age, we worked.
This is the Pepsi that your Uncle Ted drank when rock sounded like this. This is the Pepsi for American pastimes. Whether you're tailgating at a speedway or courtside watching your favorite player make a breakaway,
he scored!
This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Okay, so we're here to see who's going to go for the win.
First off, Molly took it to the next level with the chairs and the coolers.
Here comes Emma, bringing it with those killer boots and that portable grill. Oh my, I think she's going for it.
Mom, I think the hot dogs are on fire.
Hold on, honey. Ladies, where did you go to get ready for the game?
Steinmart.
Visit any one of our 6 locations in Jacksonville for all your tailgating needs as we proudly support the Jaguars this season. Steinmart. Saving is a beautiful thing.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Final moments of the Publix Tailgate Show. The Jags and the Chiefs tee it up at 1 o'clock at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Check out the daily shows on Jaguars.com and Jags social media. Jags Drive Time, Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. And Jaguars Happy Hour, Monday through Thursday, starting at 4 o'clock. Available on the official team website, Jaguars.com and Jags social media. Let's go to Kansas City for a visit with the Ozone.
The Ozone.
Jaguars.com senior writer John Oehser joins us from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri, where it's wet, John.
Yeah, and I'm here with my good friends Tony Baselli and Jeff Loggeman. I say that in quotes. It's wet, and I had a really good feeling about this game until I saw how wet. I don't love this for the Jaguars. Maybe these guys feel differently. I liked the fact early in the week that it was speed on speed. I like the Jaguars' defense in that. I don't love this, and maybe I'm wrong.
What? So what is?
Hold on. Can you tell us why instead of you just throwing stuff out there and hoping it sticks? I mean,
well, because I feel like the Jaguars' defense plays well when it can play really, really fast. I feel like advantage goes to the offense when it's on slick surface because they know where they're going. And I don't know that I've felt that the Jaguars' offense plays well in weather.
Yeah, common sense would tell you that with rain, the team that throws the ball more to win is at a disadvantage. But the argument here, kind of the contrary with the Kansas City Chiefs, is they got a really good running game to boot, and a Kareem Hunt who led the league last year in rushing. They have a quarterback that is outstanding in the short passing game, which is what you typically see in wet weather. So I don't know. I mean, this is a hard one to pick, John. I don't have a feeling one way or the other.
And it felt to me in the second half against the Giants that the Jaguars struggled a little bit with that slick. It felt a little slick, and I felt like they struggled offensively in it.
Well, I mean, since Ozone's obviously intimidated by this place and has gotten scared since he's gotten here, let me play devil's advocate on the other side. The Chiefs are the pretty team with the pretty quarterback, and everything's been perfect so far. Mm-hmm. Now there's going to be some adversity, and you got some tough hombres coming to town and bad weather, and we got Blake Bortles, who's a mutter. I mean, that's what he is. I mean, he's a grinder, kind of find ways to get things done. I like the toughness of this Jaguar team, coming in here and the resiliency against a Chiefs team that hasn't been tested.
I would feel a lot better if the Jaguars offense had established itself as a powerful running team this year. I don't feel like it has, and I feel like this needs to be the day to do it, and I wonder if they will do it without
I'm with you, John, because I got TJ Yeldon in fantasy, baby.
And well, they got the read option too. I mean, Blake's been very effective.
I hope you're right. I've had a great feeling about this game for 2 weeks. And the rain has doused that a little bit.
Now you're scared.
And let me throw something out that
I live in fear, Tom.
That will counteract or be opposing of what Tony said. And Tony talked about how the Chiefs haven't been tested.
I forgot about the Bronco game.
They were down at Mile High on Monday night.
Except for that.
It didn't really fit into my narrative.
That one said, hey, I'm all about the narrative,
but
JP.
You do hope that young quarterback, young team, and it's a young offense for the most part, that they're getting comfortable with reading about how good they are, because this is kind of new with a new quarterback on that side of the ball, and it was a Monday night game in Denver, short week for the Kansas City Chiefs, so you would think that the advantage kind of goes to the Jaguars having a little extra day to prepare.
The extra day, yes, but them reading press clippings and thinking they're really good and believing all the hype. Well, Jalen Ramsey ruined that for us because he completely dismantled their best offensive player besides Patrick Mahomes. That's Tyreek Hill. And again, I don't know why you do that.
Somebody explain to me why he would have that level of disrespect for Tyreek Hill.
Who, by the way, is really good.
Well, Jalen was counterpunching, first of all. Tyreek talked first.
Wait a minute, JP. I saw Tyreek Hill's comments, and they weren't disrespectful to Jalen Ramsey.
I got the feeling it was sort of an obligatory comment. I think Jalen felt like once Tyreek said something, he felt like
But did he really say something?
Yeah, but that's Jalen.
I get it. I get it. But I will give Jalen credit. If you like trash talk.
Oh, it's the best.
Coming back with the quote that, look, he was a return specialist Pro Bowler. It was pretty good.
It was good, and I think he emphasized, too, that it's not going to be a pure one-on-one. He's not going to be out there on the island with him that much.
If he is, then Jalen's in trouble. Because anybody on an island with Tyreek Hill is in trouble.
Jalen's awfully fast.
I'm just telling you, John. And last week, if my eyes...
Jalen is fast.
Hold on, let me finish here. If my eyes are telling me the truth, I saw somebody in green running past Jalen Ramsey last week, but the ball wasn't thrown properly. Did you see that play?
I did see it.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
And Tyreek Hill's faster, by the way.
I agree.
Interesting.
No, I like I'd love to see the matchup, though. I'd love to see.
Oh, me too.
I'd love to watch Jalen.
But I think that Tyreek Hill has too much change of direction for Jalen to handle. I mean, because that's not Jalen's thing. Jalen's is speed and length.
Yeah, but the one thing that Jalen, where I give him a good chance, or a flip of the coin, is Jalen's really long. Get his hands on Tyreek, and Jalen. And part of the reason
he can get his hands on him.
Yeah, I do actually. The reason he talks the way he does is because that's what gets him going. Number one, and he is an ultimate competitor, and I love that about Jalen.
A lot of people saying nay up here, JP.
Not me. Whoa. There's only one person who's not saying nay, because before you came on, John, because of the press box food being bad Chinese food in the barbecue capital of our country, I said the Jaguars. I said during the week. 3-point win for the Jaguars. Now 3 touchdowns.
Did you not get your barbecue last night?
No.
You got in too late?
3 touchdowns.
All right.
There are people all over in the state of Texas and in the state of Georgia that are going, Baselli, it is not the capital of barbecue in Kansas City.
Okay, wait a second. Okay, hold on now. What is Kansas City known for?
Barbecue.
The Chiefs.
Blues.
JP, Mike, what is Kansas City known for food-wise?
Barbecue.
I'm not saying it's not. I like Texas barbecue, and I like barbecue in Georgia.
Yeah, but you're acting like this is the epicenter of barbecue.
That's what
they believe it is. They believe it is.
Well, they live in their own little world.
Jeff, you're missing the whole point. They think they're the barbecue capital of the world, and we had Chinese food in the press box.
Okay, then why don't we have seafood in ours?
Great question. I've asked that many times.
That's a really good question, actually.
Yeah,
so what's the latest weather situation, guys, while you're looking outside?
It's raining.
It's eased up for right now, but it feels like it's going to go in bands. It feels like it's going to be here off.
Yeah, in bands.
Bands.
The bands are nonstop, JP, and here's the thing. When you look farther away on the radar, and I've been watching it pretty much all morning.
Weatherman Logman.
the Kansas City is almost on the line of where the storms are popping up continuously. And so my concern is that we may have a Miami Dolphins-Titans game here to where we get constant delays because of lightning. I think that's
your tongue.
That's a real possibility, though, and I hope I can, by saying it, it doesn't happen, but that's a real possibility here in Kansas City.
And that's really the priority, JP, not having that.
Yeah, and with Asian food instead of barbecue, it'd make it for a long day.
That's for sure. No doubt about that. Don't need that today at all. The Jaguars, this is a huge game, obviously, for the Jags to go in on the road. Kansas City, 3-1. Jaguars team, 4-0. Kansas City team coming up. But it's the start of a tough quarter here. You're going to Dallas next week, a division game at home after that, then on to London against the world champions. This is a difficult stretch ahead, so a win today would be a nice start.
JP, can we just take it one game at a time and relish?
No. He's always jumping ahead.
This is the greatest matchup in the NFL maybe that we see all year.
And it's one the Jaguars were built to win. You're built to win this game against – if you build your defense this way, you're built to beat offenses that have lowly ranked defenses. And if the weather holds like this where there's no rain right now, I think they do it.
No, I just hope the weather holds because this is a great matchup. I mean, this is get your popcorn ready. I mean, all the people in the NFL are talking about this game.
This is get your stir-fry ready. And
get your
ready
stir-fry ready. Good one, John.
All right, guys, enjoy that. And
JP, you go ahead and look ahead. We're going to concentrate on this game right here in Kansas City.
Okay, enjoy that today. In the epicenter of barbecue in America, Kansas City, Missouri. There they are, Jeff Lageman, Tony Baselli, and John Ogier. We'll look forward to John's writing after the game. Jeff and Tony will have the call of today's game with analysis work. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and here we go, one more hour before kick.
Didn't Jeff say it may be the best game in the NFL all season? Wouldn't that require looking ahead to consider the entire schedule?
Excellent point.
Just saying,
I didn't want to go
We're
there,
allowed to look ahead. The players look ahead, too, by the way. They just don't admit that they look ahead.
Yeah, everybody looks ahead.
Of course they do.
Why have a schedule then?
Right.
Why don't you just throw the games in a hat and just pick one out next week? Let's play the –
I think there are probably more reasons than that for having a schedule.
Play the Bears next week.
Sure,
yeah,
why not?
That's why you look ahead a little bit.
I'd like to get the Jets again. That went
over and let's play them 3 weeks in a row.
Why not?
Okay, when we return, this is it for the Publix Tailgate Show, by the way. We'll come back with network coverage, countdown to kickoff, an hour away from the Jags and the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. We'll hear from Doug Marrone, the final word with the head coach. We'll hear from Pete Prisco, CBS Sports senior writer, and prior to the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor has some thoughts about today's game. The Jags and the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium, and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
Follow the Jaguars non-stop when you fly from Jacksonville International Airport. JAX has convenient non-stop service to every single away game this season. Watch the Jags take on teams in New York, Kansas City, Dallas, Indianapolis, Buffalo, Nashville, Miami, Houston, and Minneapolis. So huddle with the family, formulate your game plan, and book your flights today. A complete list of non-stop flights from JAX can be found at flyjax.com.
If you are considering selling your home or just wondering what your home might be worth, it's important to talk with someone you can trust, a Weichert agent. Your Weichert agent will prepare a marketing plan that will help you arrive at the optimum selling price and will expose your home to more buyers faster. Contact a Weichert Realtors affiliate today by calling 1-800-USA-SOLD or visit Weichert.com to find the office nearest you. Weichert, local, knowledgeable, personal service. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Be the MVP of your next tailgate with the official wing of the Jacksonville Jaguars from Dick's Wings and Grill. Whether at the stadium or cheering from home, game day every day with Dick's 365 wing varieties, burgers, wraps, and more. And for somewhere to catch all the sports action, Dick's Wings and Grill's 23 area locations have been a local fan favorite for more than 20 years. For the best wings, ice-cold craft beer, and best fans, feed where the big cats feast. Visit DicksWingsAndGrill.com for a location nearest you. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Some things make a house your home. Like endless hot water that makes the tranquility from an everyday shower your thing. When heating water with natural gas, You have hot water when you need it. Save money and earn a rebate up to $675. Your home. Our safe, reliable, efficient energy. Love natural gas. Find rebate details at peoplesgas.com.
This is Lori Fournette, mother of Jacksonville Jaguars running back Leonard Fournette. My son is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. As a busy mom, I'm always looking for easy ways to save time. Publix helps me tackle everything from pre-game prep to post-game cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, Bounty 12 large roll paper towels and Charmin 24 double roll bath tissue are on sale for $12.99.
Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
At Navy Mutual, we've been providing life insurance and annuity products for current and former military families since 1879. We've always held that our life insurance products should never be bound by fine print or military service restrictions. While much has changed in the past 130 years, the compass that guides us never has. To learn how we can protect your family, visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Cook puts it down. Josh kicks it up. The 54-yard field goal attempt is good. Well, of course it's good. Lambeau is 8 of 8 on the year, and the Jags lead it 16-0.
Welcome to Countdown to Kickoff. Countdown to Kickoff. In the next hour, we'll bring you everything you need to know about today's game and the latest news from around the NFL. You'll hear from Jaguars great Fred Taylor, Pete Prisco, and Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone. Countdown to Kickoff is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, Geico, Ticket Exchange, and by TIAA Bank. Let's get the countdown started. Here are Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick.
As the calendar turns to October, the stakes continue to rise for the Jags. Today, a huge matchup against the last unbeaten team in the AFC. In one of the most hostile environments in the game today, the 3-1 Jacksonville Jaguars meet the 4-0 Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. Kickoff set for 1 o'clock. Welcome into Countdown to Kickoff. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey. We're at the HananiaAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field. Let's just play right now.
Let's kick it off now. I'm watching a moment ago on television Patrick Mahomes warming up. Looked like things were fine. I didn't see any torrential downpour going on. So let's get this thing underway, JP.
Yeah, get started early in case it gets bad later, right?
Look, in all seriousness, this is a big game, not just for the immediate standings, but, we were just having a conversation a few minutes ago on the pregame with Jeff and Tony about looking ahead, right? Well, we can look ahead as media members and people that cover the team. And look, who knows where Kansas City ends up? Last year they started out 5-0, then they went through a big swoon, and then they rebounded and made it into the playoffs. But this Jaguar team, obviously, if they make it to the postseason, wants to play as many games at home as possible. You don't want to go back to Arrowhead, right? And this is a potential playoff tiebreaker down the road. I know that's getting way out ahead, but it doesn't change the fact this is when they're playing the game. It's week 5. They're not playing in week 16 or week 17, so they're playing it now, and there's a lot on the line potentially down the road.
A lot on the line, and a big one today. If you win this one today, then you start off this quarter the right way with some tough weeks coming up here. Rain in the forecast today. The field is available for the players to warm up. Now, it wasn't earlier today because of lightning in the area. We could hear about this as the day goes on today. Let's get to today's top stories, though. Setting the tone for the week, Doug Marrone discussing quarterback Patrick Mahomes. It's a remarkable start, of course. 14 touchdowns, no interceptions, and Doug Marrone, the Jags head coach, thinks he ranks right there among the best ever.
Right now, he's playing better than any quarterback's ever played. I mean, he's an MVP quarterback. What the question is what he can't do. I don't know. I mean, I don't think words can really put in perspective how great he's playing. I mean, that's really all there is to it.
Well, we've heard all week how he's got the moxie of Brett Favre. He's got the arm of Joe Montana.
He's a combination of Favre and Elway, I heard this week.
But at some point, this is going to break down a bit because you can't stay perfect forever.
Look,
right?
After 2 weeks, he was on pace to throw 80 touchdowns this year, okay? So if he fails to throw 4 touchdowns today, he'll be off the pace of Peyton Manning's record from a few years ago at 55. I don't think he's breaking the NFL all-time season passing touchdown mark, but that doesn't mean he can't throw 40-plus touchdowns this year. He's got a great start to that. And it's not just even about the numbers, JP. It's about the efficiency. No interceptions and the kind of throws he can make. He can make every throw out there. He can make the touch throws, but he has the kind of arm like a Favre and Elway did where they don't care how open you are. They think they can get you the ball, and so far he's been right. He can throw it on the move on a line. He can throw it across his body on a line. He can make throws and even think about trying throws that other quarterbacks shouldn't even begin to think about.
There's a hint in the locker room this week, though, here at TIAA Bank Field. The Jaguars might be a little bit tired of hearing about it. Tashawn Gibson might not be buying the hype.
I do. Yeah, man, like that dude is – he's so good, I hope he throw me one, right? How about this? I'm going to talk him up all week. No, seriously, though, he's a phenomenal athlete, man. He's a great quarterback. He's playing MVP-like, so, he playing so good that when I pick him off, I might have to put his ball up there with the Ben Roethlisbergers and the Drew Breeses. That's how good I think he is.
All right, tongue-in-cheek there a little bit by Tashawn Gibson, but that's him. That's this defense, parts of this defense. They talk like that, and go play the game against this guy now.
Well, I think the most impressive thing, it's one thing to get in the shootout in today's NFL. We saw Mitchell Trubisky throw 6 touchdowns last week, right? So it is a new era, as David Lamb was alluding to earlier this morning. But to come back from 10 points down on the road in Denver, and I don't care how many times Kansas City's beaten Denver in a row. He hasn't beaten Denver all those times in a row. Yeah. It was Alex Smith doing that. So to be down in that circumstance in a hostile environment when things weren't going well for him in the first half and to come back and lead a couple of fourth-quarter touchdown drives, that to me has been as impressive as anything he's done statistically this year.
Well, he has weapons around him on offense as well. You tend to forget about that this week. Wide receiver Tyreek Hill is one of those, and Hill had some mild comments about Jalen Ramsey and the possible matchup this week. Jalen Ramsey responded with a little bit of fire on Thursday.
I don't like how whoever has made it a matchup, me against Tyreek. He's good for what he does for their team. He made All-Pro as a return specialist. Let's get that right. As a return specialist, his rookie year. He went to 2 Pro Bowls as a return specialist. 2 years, I made All-Pro in my position as a corner. Went to the Pro Bowl as a corner. So it's not a wide receiver versus corner matchup. So we can get that out of the way.
Yeah, there's Jalen Ramsey this week, and, that's Jalen being Jalen. He's going to respond when he thinks he's been wronged, at least in the public eye, and that's the way he felt about it. In reality, once this thing kicks off, you're not going to see a lot of that. He's going to move all over the field, Tyreek Hill.
He absolutely does. And, again, last year he was 7th in the league in receiving yards. So whether he made it as a receiver into the Pro Bowl or not, he was an incredibly impactful wide receiver. He caught 75 balls. He scored 7 touchdowns. And you add to that what he does in the return game, it just makes him a weapon. Call him whatever you like. And there will be times, I'm sure, when Jalen is opposite Tyreek Hill, and then it will be a cornerback wide receiver matchup, and we'll see how it goes.
Blake Bortles on the offensive side. No Leonard Fournette this week for this Jaguars offense. TJ Yeldon will get the start at running back today. Blake Bortles knows there are some differences without 27 in the lineup.
There's just going to need to be, that much more asked of you. There's going to need to be kind of that, the production that he brings is missing when he's not there, and we got to pick it up somewhere. So I know TJ and Corey take a lot of pride in that, doing it from the running back room. Me and the receivers do as well in the passing game. We know we're going to have to make up for some yards that aren't there because he's missing. So I think we're comfortable. Obviously, we want Leonard to play, want him to be healthy and out there and helping our team. But I think we've figured out how to win without him and be successful without having a great player in him out there.
Yeah, spread it around a little bit, maybe throw him some earlier downs, and there's just a different feel sometimes when Leonard is not the guy you hand it off to 25 times.
No question. Look, and Leonard has been okay. Wasn't spectacular when he was in there. Look, I think they're a better team when you have everyone healthy, obviously, but TJ Yeldon has done a nice job this year. He's going to be counted on today. I think you're going to see more of Corey Grant. I think this is going to be a game more hearkening back to what we saw against the New England Patriots. I think they're going to look to get Graham out in space a little bit and see if he can pop a big play.
This is a 1 o'clock kickoff game today on CBS, but it has the number one announcing crew, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson. And Jim Nantz this week joined Jaguars Drive Time on Jaguars.com and said that Blake Bortles should get a little more respect nationally.
For one, I'm tired of people picking on Blake Bortles. I'm sick of it. So, and I'm just saying this as a fan. I think it's over the top. I think it's piling on, and I think I don't think it's accurate. He's a different player now, and I hope I have many avenues to be able to say that in whatever broadcast form I can, maybe starting this Sunday.
The Jaguars will have Nantz, Romo, and Wolfson this week and next week in Dallas, and who knows, obviously down the road, if things keep going well, you'll have bigger announced crews and bigger audiences for this Jaguars team.
Yeah, hey, look, with success comes a lot of eyeballs and a lot of recognition. It's nice to see that Blake is getting his share of that now. And it's not just Jim Nantz or others nationally that are starting to recognize. There are always going to be those that say, oh, it's Blake Bortles, and anytime he has a bad game, they'll see, I told you so, ignoring any other good quarterback's down week. But Blake just keeps doing what he does, and hopefully he starts stringing some of these together.
Hello, friends. There you have it with the top
that.
Stories today.
Get that.
For this Chiefs-Jaguars matchup. We'll come back with a look around the National Football League in Week 5. 1 o'clock is the kickoff time at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
Jaguars fans, Ashley Home Store is where you'll find the perfect Tempur-Pedic mattress to power your life. As the #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer in America and the official furniture and mattress store of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ashley Home Store offers Jaguars fans special pricing and 72 months no-interest financing. Just tell them the Jaguars sent you. Plus, a portion of every mattress sold helps provide free beds to local children in need. Shop for Tempur-Pedic at Ashley Home Store today and go Jaguars. Subject to credit approval. See store for details.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Massage Envy announces their newest game changer, professionally assisted stretch. Increase mobility, flexibility, and blood flow. Add stretch to relaxing therapeutic massage sessions and you're game ready. Visit any of the 7 Jacksonville area Massage Envy locations in Bartram Park, Fleming Island, Harbor Village, Jacks Beach, Oakleaf, Ortega, and Southside. Text STRETCH to 82257 to receive a free 30-minute professionally assisted stretch offer when you purchase any massage session. Text the word STRETCH to 82257.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? You build the legendary F-Series trucks, America's best-selling trucks for 41 years, with Super Duty and Motor Trend's 2018 Truck of the Year, the F-150. Now is a great time to check out Ford F-Series trucks, with great offers, leases, and financing at your local Ford store or online at buyfordnow.com. America's best-selling based on 2017 calendar year sales. Best-selling trucks based on sales December 1976 to November 2017.
Countdown to kickoff continues. Jaguars Chiefs at 1 o'clock Eastern in Week 5 at Arrowhead Stadium. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiaAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field. This game, the Jags-Chiefs game, is the biggest matchup of the week in the National Football League. It's a 1 o'clock window game, though, but plenty of other storylines as we move into October finally.
Well, since you mentioned this game, we'll go around the AFC South here. Indianapolis already lost this week to fall to 1-4. They played on Thursday night against the New England Patriots. Tennessee's in Buffalo today, trying to improve to 4-1. And the Houston Texans tonight host the Dallas Cowboys. Houston looking for their second victory of the season as well. So hopefully the Jags can win this one. You can sit back and cheer on the Cowboys to knock off the Texans in the Battle of Texas. JP, remember when the controversial lowering the helmet rule was going to ruin football for all of us this year? Well, NFL referees have called it a grand total of 4 times all season. However, just because a player's not flagged doesn't mean he won't be fined, and Chiefs running back Kareem Hunt found that out this week after committing a textbook violation of the rule on Monday night against the Broncos. Despite not drawing a flag, Hunt fined nearly $27,000 for unnecessary roughness on the play in question. Elsewhere, Jets defense coordinator Casey Rogers, reportedly dealing with a serious health issue that will keep him from the team today and possibly for significant time afterward. No word on the specifics of what Rodgers is dealing with, but head coach Todd Bowles will call the defensive plays today. The Jets host the Broncos. Vikings running back Dalvin Cook dealing with a hamstring injury. He's not expected to suit up today as the Vikings visit the Eagles. That's a rematch of last season's NFC Championship game. We mentioned Houston hosting Dallas. Lamar Miller also ailing, not expected to be able to play tonight for the Texans in that one, although Will Fuller, who's got a hamstring issue of his own, is expected to play for Houston tonight. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reports that there's confidence that Carolina tight end Greg Olsen will play next week against the Redskins. Olsen out today, but he did get in some limited practices this week, and barring setbacks, he's on track to return just 5 weeks after refracturing his surgically repaired foot without having to have another surgery on that. They say the pin that they inserted last year held it together and resulted in a stress fracture instead of a complete break. And then finally, when the Saints host the Redskins on Monday Night Football, quarterback Drew Brees aiming for a couple of major milestones. He needs 4 touchdown passes to join Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, and Tom Brady as the only quarterbacks have thrown 500 or more in their careers. Brady got his 500th, by the way, to Josh Gordon on Thursday Night Football this week. And if Brees throws for more than 200 yards, 201 is all he needs, he'll leapfrog Manning and Brett Favre and become the all-time leading passing yardage leader in the National Football League. 260 makes him the first to 72,000 yards. That's a lot of. He's had a lot of 5,000-yard seasons.
Yes, he has.
But I mean, think about it. 4,000 was the standard. 4,000. You have 15 of those. You're still short of where Drew Brees is right now. So it's pretty incredible. And certainly the more liberalized rules towards passing have benefited him.
I mean,
no
he
doubt.
should do those marks in his sleep if he just shows up to the stadium. Right?
Well, you would think so. He threw for less last week in yardage. Didn't have any touchdowns. Threw for, I think, 217, something like that. So it was, but I think this one, maybe he won't get the 4 touchdowns. He's going to sail past the passing yardage mark, and who knows? He says he wants to continue to play for several more years. He may put this number out of sight right now.
There you have it, a look around the National Football League. We'll return Mike's weekly visit with CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco. The Jags and the Chiefs kick it off at 1 o'clock at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Countdown to Kickoff on the Jaguars Radio Network. You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. S-M-A-R-T. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit RideSmartFlorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
This season, it could be you that takes the field through the TIAA Bank Take the Field sweepstakes. For each home game, one lucky fan will win 2 club tickets and pregame sideline access to be on the field as the Jaguars are introduced. To enter and for official rules, go to TIAABank.com/takethefield today. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of 59